like the show in advance anyway, so go ahead and like the video now if you don't mind. I got a new MAGA hat that a listener gave me. I kept the tag in it, because I know people will ask. And I kept the tag because it says, official Make America Great Again, 45th President hat. So I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So I kept the tag in it like I'm some rapper or something. But it's not the one that Trump has seen, so I may be a little off today. What's going on? Oh, there it's low. Yes. We got a lot to talk about. Yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio. Welcome. A lot going on. There is a massive Joe Biden scandal that you're going to hear about first here this morning that I'm going to get to. We got a lot going on, and of course Fridays is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game on the Friday show. So you're not limited to just the topics that we bring up, Steve or myself. You can talk about anything you have on your mind, except for peas. We had to put that little addendum in a couple weeks ago because of Augustino. But other than peas, you can talk about anything and everything you have on your mind today. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'm very excited. I'm wearing a new MAGA hat a listener gave me at Anne Marie's. I was at Anne Marie's in Pompano, and a listener gave me a new MAGA hat, and I'm wearing that today. So I'm a little concerned because this MAGA hat has not been seen by President Trump like my other one has. So I might not be as sharp as I normally am today because my Make America Great Again hat that Trump has seen, I don't know, 10, 12 times with his own eyes, in person, up close, just maybe 3 feet away. That I call the hat of wisdom, because since Trump gazed upon it so many times with his own eyesight, some of his wisdom is passed on to me, and I'm not wearing that hat today because, well, I brought my other car, and that hat is in my other car, but I had this one in the back seat of the car I drove today. So don't worry, it's my wife's car. I'm not like Seinfeld, okay? I don't have a bunch of cars. I have a car, my wife has a car. But anyway, welcome. There's so much to talk about. Before we get into this Joe Biden scandal, you know, coming to work on the radio at these early hours of the morning, you see all kinds of stuff. And over the years, I have encountered so many things on my way into work because I'm out on the highway so early, and it's a weird time. The time I'm out on the road is the time you've got two groups of people, right? You've got the people that are on their way to work early in the morning, and then you have the people that are coming home from the 5 a.m. bars. And it's a tough time. I've had strange things. You know, one morning, some of you have been long-time listeners. This was a long time ago. You may remember this. I stopped off at a gas station on the way to the radio station. This is when we were in Fort Lauderdale. And I walked in, and the place was being robbed. I walked in during a robbery, black guy in a wife beater with a knife, and it was like a Rambo knife. I walked in the middle of a robbery. I kid you not. And it was crazy. And it was a gas station it was a tiny gas station building where you could enter on either side of the gas station. I walked in, the place was being robbed. The guy had the knife, you know, give me your blanket money and all this stuff. It's true. It's true. And then he luckily ran out the other door, not the one I was standing in front of because he had the knife, and he went out and slashed the tires of all the cars at the pump on that side of the gas station except mine. And then the guy that was working at the gas station jumped over the counter with a club and chased after him. The guy got away, he came back. It was an experience. And I got to the radio station, so what am I going to talk about? I talked about this robbery that had just happened a few minutes before, and guess what? The gas station attendant was listening. He called me on the air. We had a great conversation. It was crazy. He's like, I didn't know that was you, Brian. I was like, yeah, it was me, and I don't know why you went after the guy with a knife. There was another time that I was I was on my way to the radio station. This was a long time ago. And this was on Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale so long ago. This was a long time ago. I was at a Dunkin' Donuts. It was across the street from Peaches on Sunrise Boulevard. You guys remember Peaches? Yeah, it became like a adult store. But anyway, I go to this Dunkin' Donuts. I come out, and this is down by the Fort Lauderdale beach, right? It's close to Sunrise Boulevard and A1A. And I hear these, there was a gay bar just a few doors down from this Dunkin' Donuts. And I guess it just closed. And there were these gay guys who were trying to pick up these runaways. Like, there's a lot of street kids in that part of Fort Lauderdale, runaway-looking types, my own Private Idaho types. And I heard this guy say to this guy, there were these two, they were like teenagers. And it was a boy and a girl. I don't know, it's been a long time, but they were definitely teenagers, guy and a girl. And when I got out of the car, I heard this man who was like in his 40s say to this teenage boy who was like 16-ish, "You've never had a guy blank in your," and some other things I can't say. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know what to do. So I went inside. I got my coffee, I came out, and he was trying to get the teenager to go hook up with him and leave the girl. Oh, I'll bring you back. So I didn't have a cell phone, so I drove off and went to a gas station a couple doors down. I called the police, and they told me, oh, well, it's private property. There's nothing we could do unless the owner calls us. Like, what are you talking? So, I've had some adventures on the way in, which will make what I'm going to tell you right now sound mild, because, we're in a better neighborhood than that radio station was. But it was, yeah, I mean, that's what you see at these early hours of the morning, so I'm always very careful. But I know I've seen other things, too. Seen deadly car accidents, seen people get arrested. Saw someone getting arrested this morning. But I've seen a lot of things at these early, strange hours of the morning. But one thing I hear from people, and I want to throw this out, okay? Driving while black. When's the last time you heard someone talk about driving while black? That used to be a big thing, right? Driving while black, and you get in all kinds of trouble for driving while black. You would be stopped just for being black. I witnessed something right down the street from this radio station, not too long ago, right on my way in this morning. I was at the light down the street, and I witnessed something that a black man was doing behind the wheel of his car, which I'll tell you about in a moment, and I believe that the driving while black era is over, and I'll tell you why. There may have been racial profiling in the past, and if you were a black guy and you're driving alone in the dark, like it is early in the morning, it makes sense to make sure you don't make any running stops, don't go over the speed limit. You would think you'd be in trouble. Well, in the post-George Floyd era, police do different things. I think police officers are afraid to pull over and stop black people because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, there was an incident you may have seen at a Walmart where the police had to shoot a customer. Did you see this? Shocking video. A customer was holding a Walmart employee at gunpoint in a hostage standoff. Police shot her, and all the police officers were white, and the suspect with the gun was a black woman, and and the person she was holding the gun to was white. I haven't heard any racial things, but anyway, I think in the post-George Floyd era, police officers don't stop black people unless they absolutely have to, because you don't know what's going to happen. You get all jammed up, you lose your badge, you get sued, next thing you know, Benjamin Crump comes to town, you're done, right? I'll tell you what I saw, and I'm going to throw this out to our callers of color this morning, African-American callers. Is driving while black a thing of the past? And I'll tell you what I saw this guy doing down the street today. Now, again, I just saw from my window to his, so I don't know 100% if this is what he was doing, but it looked like it to me, okay? Now, I drive off 95. I got my coffee, you know, I'm on the road. I have my windows down because it's a nice day. It's Florida, waking up a little bit with the cool breeze. And I caught a little whiff of something. Like, what's going on? I look over. There's a guy next to me, and black guy in a white T-shirt who's in his 20s, and he's smoking a joint at the light. He's got, and I can smell it. And he took the hit. He took the lighter. I saw the flame, and I thought, whoa! And I saw it. He had the little joint up there, and he looked at me. He didn't seem to care, and he kept driving and everything. And the reason I share that now, it could have been a tobacco joint. Who knows, right? When you buy the rolling papers, don't they say this is for tobacco use only? You know, so you know, I don't know. But I'm here to tell you that if driving while black is still a thing, would this young guy be driving around smoking weed on a time when, you know, I can smell it? And his car, which was a hunk of junk, and everything about the guy was out of character for the neighborhood right down the street, okay? Because we're in a fancy area here, right? You know, I told you, Mar-a-Lago is just a short drive away. So, you know, we're in fancy town here. But I just don't think that driving while black is a thing like it used to be. I think the driving while black is over. I think this guy felt like the James Bond of weed smokers, right? He has like a license to smoke weed while driving. He doesn't seem to mind at all. And you know what? He didn't even have his turn signal on when he was turning. I was like, I couldn't believe, because I was like, I got behind the guy. We got to the next light to turn. I got behind him, and I was like, no, he's smoking weed. He's black. He's in a hunk of junk. You can smell it like forever, and he doesn't even have a turn signal on. Doesn't seem too smart. But I'm gonna get into this Joe Biden scandal after the break. But I'm serious about what I'm telling you. And I know we have police officers that listen, and you can call in anonymously. Officer anonymous. Is driving while black still a thing? Are police officers afraid to pull black people over unless they absolutely have to, out of fear of Benjamin Crump and everything that goes along with a white police officer pulling over an African-American person? Because it could escalate real quick and you're in big trouble. I think police are letting black people get away with crimes if they can. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. In fact, I know I had a call. I talked to a cop on the phone a few months back. Might have been a year ago. And he's a police sergeant here in, he's in Broward County. He didn't tell me what department he was from. And I asked him, if you see like a black driver, do a minor traffic infraction or speed, are you afraid to stop him? He said, yeah, I let him get away with it. He told me that on the air. Some of you may remember that call. But I think the era of driving while black is over, and I'll throw that out. But again, it is open phones. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action.
Yeah, we need some callers of color this morning to shed some light on this. Steve Kane Show. Hey, hold on. And I don't want to hear from people that smoke marijuana telling me how great marijuana. I hate to bring up anything that involves marijuana, because then the lines are going to light up with potheads, and I don't want to take the show in that direction. I had no plans on talking. That's just something that happened right down the street, so. I'm sure you guys remember driving while black. We used to hear that all the time. It was a huge thing. Anecdote, well, life experience, man. That's what happens. Steve Kane Show. Hey, hold on. Yes. I don't know. But driving around this neighborhood, black and a hunk of junk, smoking weed, to me that seems like a sure thing you're going to get pulled over, you know.
information for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments. Even deal with a pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the
Oh, yeah.
they do.
I've seen crazy things on the way in. That one with the gas station getting robbed, I couldn't believe the guy was listening. He was listening in the gas station. He had me on in the gas station on the radio.
Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now.
Guy had a big knife too. I was like, oh my goodness.
875-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
Happy holidays from everyone at Chowderheads of Jupiter. The Chowderhead family wishes you and yours the best for this festive season. Chowderheads, looking forward to serving you.
Oh, that was years ago, the robbery. I talked about it at the beginning of the... You can rewind and watch it.
Everyone at Chowderheads.
Chowderheads open 7
I've had all kinds of crazy adventures on the way into the radio station in the morning. Steve Kane Show. Hey. Well, I used to be on the air live from 3 to 6 in the morning when I first started doing talk. And things got really crazy because I was out at 2 a.m.
Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires.
Yeah, exactly.
A tire that's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone.
A lot of weirdos out early in the morning. Yeah, I saw an 18-wheeler driver getting arrested by the Highway Patrol on I-95 this morning. You see weird stuff in the mornings.
1977. It's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. We have a full board of calls. So, well, people seem to be interested. It is the Friday before Christmas, but hey, it's open phone, so they may not care about anything I've said. Now, yesterday, my daughter, she needs some new tires on her car. My daughter is taking a road trip, so I wanted to get her tires. So what did I do? Of course, I called Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, and I'm actually Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire is open on Christmas Eve. So I'm going in Saturday on Christmas Eve to get new tires put on my daughter's car, and then after that, I'm going to head over to Anne Marie's and pick up Christmas dinner. But let me see how many spots, how many commercials I can get in this one message. But I got my daughter's taking a road trip, and not only did I want her to have new tires, I wanted her to have the best tires. So I got her Firestone. And Friendly Tire and Margate's prices are so low that you can get name brand tires like Firestone all weather, like I'm getting on my daughter's car on Christmas Eve, at affordable prices. And I just so I could tell you guys, I checked at all the places around town, and huge difference, humongous difference in price. You know, Friendly Tire, I've been shopping there for the tires on my vehicles for over 10 years. I know many of you have too. He has all the name brands you know and love at great and affordable prices. I just got a new set of tires on my wife's car, run flats, huge savings compared to the other places. And now I'm getting the Firestone tires on my daughter's car on Saturday because I want her to have the best tires. And Friendly Tire gave me a price. I was like, wow. I felt like maybe I should pay him more money. Like, you sure, Mike? Are you losing money here? The price is so low. Give him a call. And again, Friendly Tire is open on Christmas Eve, 954-977-9445. If you're there on Christmas Eve and you're early, you may see me because I'm going to go in the morning. So I'll be over there to Friendly Tire getting the Ford Firestone on my daughter's car. Give him a call, and remember, he'll give you a quote right over the phone. The price that Mike gives you is out the door and on the road. He doesn't charge you to balance the tire. He doesn't charge you to mount your tires, and he doesn't charge you to dispose of your old tires. And the price he gives you is out the door and on the road, and you'll find great prices, very friendly prices at Friendly Tire from Friendly Mike and Margate. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Make sure you told him you heard about him on the radio. He'll take extra good care of you. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brother Moses, brother Brian.
Oh, this is why. Okay. I was doing all right until I heard you introduce yourself. And what I was talking about this during the break. I don't like talking about these kind of stories. Seeing this young guy driving around smoking weed, because then the stoners call and start telling me how great marijuana is, and of course the first call is you, who's probably high already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I told you.
I ain't doing nothing yet.
Oh, not yet. Yeah. Okay. First he said he was high. Now he says he's not, but he's okay. After.
No, you just confusing sometimes. When I call you and you didn't say nothing, that's with hospitality. You just go on with your system of virus.
Okay, go on. You called me. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it's just that I don't see you getting over the system virus of black people yet. There's no vaccine for that, You just.
Okay, so driving while black still exists. When was the last time you were stopped in your car for driving while black?
I don't know anything. Those are not narratives. I don't listen to those narratives like you got going.
Okay, so never. Okay, so when is the last time you've had a racial incident with a police officer?
Only you have racial intent.
Okay, so you're agreeing with me. So you have no racial.
Conversation with I'm the elect of God, so it don't matter to me. I know what people is like already, so I have to put up with it.
Yeah, Brother Moses here is one of the oldest chronic callers. How long have you been in America?
Come from 71 and.
I want you to, okay, think about this. He's been in America, Brother Moses, as long as I have been alive. Why do you still have this accent? You've been in America as long as I have.
Because I'm a Jamaican first, and I came to America, and now I'm a Jamaican. I have a American accent, so you can.
No, you have no American accent. You have no American accent. All right, thank you for the call. He had nothing to contribute because he is always high, and that's just how Moses is. I apologize. I got a full board of calls, and I take that guy who's got nothing to say. All right, now listen, I'm going to take our bottom of the hour break. I went late on the first break, guys, with all my recollections of things. So sorry for the short segment. That's my fault, but we'll take this break. Well, we're actually taking this one late, too. But we'll try to get back on schedule so we're not backed up on breaks like a traffic jam. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve
Oh, my
Kane
goodness.
Show with Brian Craig.
I feel high just talking to that guy. Let's see. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he's been calling the show longer than I've been a part of it. He goes way back with Steve. He's got nothing to contribute. And he's been high in every call. If you take a break late, it's like a traffic jam. You know?
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops.
Why shouldn't he have his accent? That was called a joke. If you didn't get, he's been in America as long as I have, and he has that accent. It's a joke. It's just a little dry humor. It's okay to have an accent. It's just, Yeah, exactly. It's called ridicule. I was ridiculing him because he wasn't interested. He had nothing to say. So, little ridicule can be fun. The only reason he called is because he heard me say weed. So that just got a call. Oh, Paul Anka. You have an accent, okay. Well, your call would be more interesting than his. So, You know, it's like, you know, you got a full board of calls, and then you take, it's like roulette wheel. You don't know what you're going to get, and you get someone who's got nothing. You know? Oh yeah, you see all kinds of weird things. This one radio station that Steve and I worked at, we used to be on 940 Winds in Miami. And you know how you see like a parking lot back here? There was a parking lot, the windows you couldn't see in if you were outside. They were one-way windows. And there was an empty parking lot behind the building. And this is while we were on the air. Okay, and we weren't streaming on YouTube back then. This was before we were live streaming. But there was a woman pulls up in a minivan, right? And then some guy walks up, dribbling a basketball. She opens up the door. He gets in. They have sex, and while we're on the air, right behind us in a window just like this. And then when they're done, he walks away dribbling the basketball, and she drove off in the minivan. I'm assuming that wasn't her husband. Weird stuff. Oh my gosh! Of course, everybody in the radio station came in to watch. It was nice, yeah. Great holiday show. Yeah.
Reservation options are also available. Tickets on sale now. Visit Eventbrite, keywords the Copacabana.
Hear that music? That means it's Christmas shopping season again. And when you're Christmas shopping,
oh really? Wow.
There's no better place to go than mypillow.com. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you will find the lowest prices ever on top MyPillow products. Right now, order your MyPillow My Slippers for $90 off in all sizes and colors for both men and women. The MyPillow that started it all, just $19.98. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper is 50%.
No, Steve was off that day too. Yeah, the people having the sex behind us, he was off that day.
Dream sheets, the MyPillow bathrobes, whatever special you see at MyPillow.
And we were in a building that had a bunch of radio stations in it, and I remember word got around, and like everybody was coming in from the other radio stations, and it was ridiculous. Bunch of pervs in radio.
716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
The Wick Theater in Boca Raton rings in 2023 with Broadway film and TV star Eric Bergen. People are longing for an over-the-top celebration, and this is it. Eric Bergen, live, star of Broadway's Chicago and Waitress, Hollywood's Jersey Boys, and TV's Madam Secretary, The Good Fight, and Bull. Tickets on sale now at thewick.org or call 561-995-2333.
Coming back. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Main Street Moments, that's my wife, Kathy, if you don't know. Oh my gosh, 8 degrees?
You just step right in and go without bending down or even touching your shoes. So give your Skechers the same treatment you give your clothes. Just toss them in the washing machine and keep them looking brand spanking new.
Here we go.
Washable Skechers at the Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear happens to be sold.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us in progress later on. If you're just tuning in, let me just do a quick summary. On my way in this morning, I saw a 20-something young black male smoking weed, driving down the road without fear, not even using turn signals. And is the era of driving while black over? Are police officers afraid to pull over black people out of fear of losing their career? or even going to prison. It seems to happen sometimes. But it is open phones, and there's a huge Biden scandal, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. I had no intention of talking about this. It just happened down the street on the way in, and we got a full board of calls. So I'll go to the calls, and then we'll get into some more of this. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, what's up, Ryan? My name's Michael.
Hey, Michael. Don't tell me that was you I saw smoking the weed on the way in.
No, sir. I'm over here in Washington.
Okay, so what's up? You called me.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yes, sir. Okay, check this out. So, what's going on? What's going on with Sean Hannity?
Oh, you're talking about the deposition?
Correct.
Well, he never believed. He said he never believed Trump. Well, I'll tell you what's going on with Sean Hannity. It's pretty. I'm glad you asked this, because Sean Hannity is trashing Trump. So here's the deal with that. Okay, there's a couple deals with it, but the main deal is this: Sean Hannity is one of the long list of people whose entire connection to everything in their livelihood is connected to the Republican establishment. And Rupert Murdoch's family announced that they were no longer going to carry Trump. And they put the screws to Hannity, who makes over $50 million a year. Okay? Yeah, that's right. And he's got the alimony and everything else going on, and they put the screws to him, and he's throwing Trump under the bus. That's what's going on with Sean Hannity. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. That's right. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to those all serving abroad in our military, keeping us safe, and remember them and their families.
Oh, yes.
Merry Christmas to you and Kathy and Em and everybody in the chat room.
Well, thank you very much. So what's on your mind, Jeff?
Well, it was just a couple of weeks ago, there was a African-American that got pulled over by the police in my town here in Maine, and they had 4 or 5 cop cars show up, and they hauled him out, and he was holding a dog, and they went through his car, and they must have had reasonable, articulate suspicion of something, because, in this day and age, and especially in a liberal state like Maine, I'm surprised they did that. How do we protect the good cops? Because it's the few and very far between bad ones that make it hard for the good ones.
Well, I mean, think about it. If in this post George Floyd era, if you were a police officer and you saw someone black doing some traffic violations, would you stop them?
They do up here, but, a lot of our crime comes from Connecticut, New York, that people bringing drugs in, and it's a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that are doing shootings and stuff, so they're on high alert for that, and they need to protect themselves when they put...
Well, there are areas in our country, like I was watching a true crime show the other day about a murder that happened in Detroit. And it happened in an area where I don't know Detroit, but this was in this program. They said that it is so dangerous in this neighborhood that the police will not patrol it at night. The police are afraid, right? So there are things that police, this coward cop at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who was afraid to confront Nicholas Cruz and allowed the massacre to happen, pretending to look for him and calling in fake radio calls and everything. He was afraid of Nicholas Cruz. And, so police are afraid sometimes of certain things. And I think one of the things they're afraid of right now is a racial discrimination allegation being leveled against them. So that's just a new fear that police officers are walking around with.
And they already got so much on their plate, they got families that they need to come home to, and their safety should be the top priority by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jeff.
I really am so glad for this show, because the people here and you and everything that's done here is so pro-American, pro-MAGA, pro-Trump, And God bless you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That's right. Jeff from Maine. All right. That leaves one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Oh, this is an attempted humor. All right, come on. Baba Booey me. Let's go. Come on. This the best you can do? All right, okay, they gave up. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. I was hoping for a good kook and a crank, but oh well. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Let me ask you this. I just want to go back to your podcast from yesterday and this lady that so-called lied to the committee.
Oh, yeah, on my podcast last night with my wife. Which, by the way, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms, including Audible. I'm even on Audible. I'm all fancy, you know. And last night we were talking about Cassidy Hutchinson, who is the girl who testified to the January 6th Kangaroo Committee about Trump jumping through from the back seat of the presidential SUV and grabbing control from the Secret Service of the steering wheel, demanding to be taken to the Capitol. She admitted she lied.
Right now, in general, with these committees in general, taking away the Kangaroo Committee, is there a penalty if you lied to one of these committees?
Sure.
Okay, so if this committee was on the up and up, which is, we know it isn't, but if it was on the up and up, it should.
Okay, this is the thing. Lying to Congress is a crime. I've talked about this with the Hutchinson testimony when she first gave it. And I talked about it on my podcast last night, and I'll share this with you. Cassidy Hutchinson, again, she's the one who said that Trump jumped through, grabbed the wheel of the steering wheel, and demanded to be taken to the Capitol, which is impossible because there's a barrier there. It's impossible to do such a thing. I believe she was a victim of pressure from the Kangaroo Committee, and that people on the January 6th committee suborned perjury. Suborning perjury is when you get someone else to lie. You get someone to lie. Like Bill Clinton told Monica Lewinsky to lie to Ken Starr, and that's why he was impeached. Her testimony was very carefully crafted by an attorney so that you could not prove that she lied to Congress. She never said that she witnessed anything. She testified to the committee that she was told about these things happening. Someone told her. And of course, her and the person that told her are the only ones there. So how can you prove that she's lying? It's he said, she said, at best. So they got her to give this ridiculous, absurd testimony, which is clearly not true because you can't jump through from the passenger area to the driving area. But she told it in a way that no lying to Congress could ever be proven. She didn't say, I saw it. She said, someone told me this happened. So that's why I believe the committee suborned perjury with Hutchinson and gave her a way to lie, but gave her a way to lie that could never be proven that she lied to Congress, which you can go to prison for.
You can go to prison for it, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't some of these Secret Service agents that were on this detail basically say she was lying?
But she never said she witnessed it. She said, I can't remember who she said told her. It may have been a Secret Service agent. I think it was I can't remember. If you guys remember, let me know. I don't care enough about her to look that up, but someone told her this happened. She didn't say she witnessed it. Someone told her. So her defense would be, well, he lied to me. I didn't lie to Congress. Her testimony was she was told this by someone. So, you know, that's too clever for this dingbat. Because she's not that smart.
And I don't want to say it's too clever for this Kangaroo Committee, but again, there are a lot of idiots on this committee as well, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
This lady should actually go to jail.
Well, maybe when the committee investigating the January 6th committee looks into it, I hope they find out that they were suborning perjury. Hey, Mike, I got to run for the break. Take care. We'll take our break and be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
Steve Kane Show.
Right here on the Steve Kane
Hold on.
Show.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about a diner. First dates and good
That's right.
The Jersey Diner in Tequesta. Every other diner may be closed for Christmas, but the Jersey Diner is open for breakfast and lunch from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy all your favorite classic diner favorites. Steak and eggs, golden French toast, Reuben sandwich, and old-fashioned kielbasa.
Oh, boy. Yes, they are all liars. That is correct.
On Christmas, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make your reservations now. 844-EAT Jersey. The Jersey Diner. 716 U.S. Highway 1 Tequesta. Jersey Diner.
I'm going to get to that.
A
Don't
sniff
worry.
from here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what?
I'll get to the Biden story. We just got sidelined a little bit. We're here till 9. But I'll get to it after the break.
Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955.
So the kook, by the way, if you're watching from California, the first 3 digits of your phone number are 205. They've called 6 times in the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009.
Children.
561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve
All
Kane
right.
Show.
Parents, are you tired of helping people
Unbelievable.
put shoes on? They're squirming. Watch
Well, you know what it is? The trolls are out because kids are out of school. And, you know, California, it's like, you know, 3:30, it's quarter to 4 in the morning, so some kid
and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to
on YouTube.
try to wrangle them on. Actually, you don't even have to touch them. With Skechers slip-ins, they just
When the kids are out of school, that's when the trolls are out.
first shoes your kids can put on by themselves.
Exactly.
Are great for older.
But I got the number. Maybe I'll call and talk to his mom later.
The secret is a unique comfort pillow in the heel that helps your child's foot slide.
What do you guys think? Should I call and talk to his mom?
Plus, they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable, so you can keep
Sounds like
them
fun.
newer longer. Get Skechers slip-ins, the "Where have you been all my life" shoes for your kids or for mom and dad today. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever
Yes.
stylish shoes are sold.
Well, Merry Christmas. Is anyone not celebrating Christmas? Is there someone whose religion forbids Christmas
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
and just doesn't do it?
Repair on your
Yes,
vehicle
Merry Christmas to everyone.
He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids.
I should have put hashtag Christmas in the title.
The official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. I want to tell everyone about our fence and gate repair experts at EET. Oh, man, they do great work. And I've been hearing from listeners, multiple listeners. I've been getting DMs. We got a great call on the air from a listener. I've been getting emails from listeners that are just raving about what a great job EET Services did with both repairs and installation. And every person who's contacted me, they say a lot of great things. And one thing they all say is how quick they were to respond, how friendly and professional they were, and then of course what a great job they did at a great price. And EET Services is family owned and operated right here in South Florida. They cover our entire listening area. These other companies do not do fence repairs or gate repairs. They just don't. I've been through this. EET do it. Now, if you need a new gate, if you need a new fence, they'll help you with that too. And they have with listeners in this audience. No job is too small either. No minimum charge. Other companies have a minimum charge. You're not worth my time. Not EET. No job is too small. And by the way, they beat all competitor pricing. Also, no job is too big. No job is too big. Give them a call. Here's their number, 561-255-1170. 561-255-1170. They give free estimates, 561-255-1170. All right, so there's a new Biden scandal, and it involves the southern border. You know, what's going on at the southern border is insane. You know, Biden's going to Mexico. Can you believe this? Won't go to the southern border, but he's going to go to Mexico. And there's a fake news story that is out today that is part of a scandal. You know what the liberals say that it's never the crime, it's the cover-up that gets you. Well, that's nonsense, typically. They say the cover-up's worse than the crime. The reason they say you know why liberals say the cover-up's worse than the crime? Because Richard Nixon committed no crimes. He didn't break into the Watergate building, but he was involved in covering it up, right? Putting together a slush fund to make them go away and give them some money, G. Gordon Liddy and everyone. So they want, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up. That's the big thing, because Nixon didn't do a crime. He was involved in a cover-up, which is another crime. But anyway, but there's a cover-up going on right now that is a big one. And the White House has decided the best way to get out of this trouble is to lie. And that is the beginnings of a scandal. What is going on the southern border on so many levels is a disaster. Over 2 million illegals have been allowed to enter and stay in America since October. Maybe close to 3 million by now. Hundreds of thousands are on their way. They're marching like Santa Anna's army. And of course, bringing with them fentanyl and other, fentanyl is, I haven't heard stories about drugs being so addictive and deadly since crack was new. And it seems to me fentanyl seems to be more of a crisis than even crack was, because it's so deadly in very small doses. And that's all coming through the southern border. Of course, the sex trafficking and other crimes. And there's a story going out right now that is a huge scandal with the Biden White House. And it's this book about Biden having these meltdowns. Listen to this. Listen to this. Here's the headline. You could hear the president, that's Biden, you could hear the president dropping F-bombs all over the West Wing. White House insiders reveal explosive details about how furious Joe Biden exploded at staff as they struggled to get a grip of the border crisis. Biden, let me tell you, Biden is so checked out, he's not dropping F-bombs and yelling at anyone about the border crisis. Biden is so checked out, he thinks that there are only 48 states still. And I'm not kidding. Half the time he thinks he's the vice president still, and Obama's the president. But he is definitely running. The southern border is a disaster on every level. I don't have to go through the Hannity list to let you know that. It is getting ready to get worse so far as public opinion. And they've come up with this line cover that Biden he's furious, he's dropping F-bombs, he wants it cleaned up, so that they're trying to take the blame away from him and blame others. Biden's too checked out to care about anything other than what girl's hair he's going to sniff next. So let me read through this story. A furious Joe Biden was dropping F-bombs throughout the White House as his team scrambled to find answers to the migration crisis. By the way, this is not migration. Migration would be if it was inside the United States, right? Like if I move from Florida to Georgia, I've migrated. If I move from Florida to Texas, I've migrated. If I go from America to Mexico, I've immigrated, all right? That's immigration. It's not migration. But they changed the meaning of words, so it doesn't sound like what it is. Let's see here. A furious Joe Biden was dropping F-bombs throughout the White House, and his team scrambled to find answers to the migration crisis, according to a new book on his sad, pathetic criminal presidency. They don't say sad, pathetic criminal. They just say his presidency in the article. Biden's aides told author Chris Whipple that the situation on the U.S.-Mexican border made Biden's blood boil. Are you kidding me? Whipple's book, titled The Fight of His Life, Inside Joe Biden's White House, details how the Biden administration struggled to deal with surging migrant arrivals from Mexico. See, this is the other thing. The Fight of His Life. That's the title of the book. This is a massive cover-up. First off, there's two things they're covering up here with the lies in this book. The first lie is that Joe Biden is upset at the border crisis. They love it. He wants it for a whole bunch of reasons I'm not going to get into right now. But you know what most of them are. But there's some others you may not have considered. But he wants it that way. But public opinion's against it. So they're acting like he's upset about it. He didn't want this, and he gave orders, and they didn't follow. The other big cover-up is the fight for his life, and he's throwing F-bombs around, and he's a man in command. Biden is checked out. He's checked out. It's sad. You know, I don't make fun of people suffering from dementia. I've had people in my own family with Alzheimer's and things, and I know most of you have. You can't live in Florida without having people around that suffer from dementia. I don't make fun of that. But Joe Biden is a victim of elder abuse from his wife. Jill Biden is an elder abuser, and that's a crime. But they want him to look like he's with it. So they'll fight for his life, and he's dropping F-bombs. However, when women are in the room, he does apologize to the ladies for the language. That's part of the story. I know, isn't it? It's absurd. From all over the West Wing, you could hear Biden cursing, dropping F-bombs. There were more than 1.7 million migrant encounters in 2021, more than 2.3 million this year, blah, blah, blah. One senior advisor, which obtained an advance copy of the book, told the author that the frustration of Biden's came from the lack of solutions. Do any of you think that Biden is looking for the solution for anything? As checked out as he is? You've seen him on TV. He's totally checked out. He doesn't know where he is. If I had Biden in studio, what do you think the first two things I would ask him would be? Two questions. What do you think? I'll tell you. Think about it, though. If I had Joe Biden in studio right now, what would my first two questions be? I'll tell you. I'm not going to troll for calls on this. What year is it, and who's the president of the United States? I'd ask them both quick. He may get both of them wrong, but he'd get one of them wrong. And, you know, when someone's suffering from dementia and they go and visit their doctor, first thing they do is ask their doctor who the president is. Or the doctor asks them who the president is. And you know what? If they get it wrong, they have dementia. Probably. And they almost always get it wrong. I've had people in my own family. They've told me, they laugh about it. Oh, they asked me who the president. Well, I remember I had my great-grandfather. I remember he came out of the doctor's office, and this was a long time ago, you know. But he was laughing about it. They asked me who the president was, and I said Ronald Reagan. H.W. Bush was the president, right? They always usually say the one before. So those are the first two questions I would ask him. Who's the president? What year is it? Real quick, without him having time to think. Now, the president one's a little tricky because he gets called that all day. He might not even get that one right, but I bet you he'd get the year wrong. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. One senior advisor, which obtained an advance copy of the book, told the author the frustration of Biden's came from the lack of solutions. It's like, how would you feel if you were me and there were these solutions you had? It's the weight of the presidency, one advisor said. So the advisor, it's not Biden who said this, right? It's an advisor who says that he's frustrated because Biden has solutions. He's given the orders out to carry out the solutions to the border crisis, and the people around him are not following his orders that are solutions to the entire border crisis. Are you kidding me? The first thing they did was stop the completion of the border wall that caused it. But the scandal is that Joe Biden's dementia has gotten so serious, he's so far gone, that they put out this book of lies, making it act as if he's in charge. Now, if we saw him on TV operating this way, that'd be different. The book, which goes on sale January 17th, has already made headlines for reporting that Biden once described Vice President Kamala Harris as a work in progress. Now, what does that mean? When he says she's a work in progress, I take that a little different than what everybody else is saying. Everyone else says that she's not up to the job. I think he means he's trying to hook up with her. I think Biden means she's a work in progress as he wants to be the first president to have sex with the vice president. And I think that's the work in progress that Biden's talking about with Kamala Harris. And I'm not joking. He's a perv. Now, we're coming up on our top of the hour break. Callers on hold, stand by. Do you agree with this, everything I'm saying here, or not? Either way, you're welcome to call in and comment. I'm not joking about the comment about Kamala being a work in progress. I think that's the exact context that he meant it in. Not joking. But it is open phones. Anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game, as well as anything I brought up this morning. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. Don't forget, noontime on all our radio stations. Christmas music, I'll be listening, and you guys should too. High noon on all of our radio stations. Christmas music. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our top of the hour break, come back with your calls and much more right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
No, I'm serious. What do you guys think? I'm not joking. When he says Kamala is a work in progress, what do you think he means? And this line book that Biden's with it, that means he's really fallen. You know, it's so weird what works online. You know, I made a YouTube short of the drinking fountain this morning, and I put it up on YouTube. I cannot believe how many people have watched this video. I put it up like when I went on the air this morning. It's so weird what people watch on YouTube. You guys can look at it. Yeah, someone left me a message. They said that Cassidy Hutchinson looked scared when she testified. I'll agree with that. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and like the video. There's a lot more people watching than I see likes, so if you guys could like the video, that would help me out a lot, guys.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News now. The January 6th committee is out with its final report.
The official report, which is 845 pages, recommends that former President Trump and his allies be banned from ever holding public office again. The committee releasing the report just days after recommending the Justice Department charge Trump with 4 crimes, including inciting an insurrection. The report calls for better enforcement of the 14th Amendment, which bans insurrectionists from holding office.
Every line on the board is lit, so we've got a full board. Yes. Well, you think you're weird for watching it? Well, I made it. I'm even weirder than you. Yes or no, when Biden said Kamala Harris is a work in progress, do you think that means he's trying to hook up with her? Yes or no? What's the work in progress he's talking? What else does he think about Biden? Right? Complete creep. No, you don't think so? Mm. Mm. Yeah, I think it's the, yeah. It's not a pagan holiday trigger. You can say it's a pagan holiday if you want. It would only be a pagan holiday if you were a pagan worshiper doing pagan things. Mm-hmm. Flat earthers? What about the time travelers? You ever see all the people that claim to be time travelers online? It's ridiculous.
You ever see that conspiracy theory that Donald Trump's a time traveler or something like that?
Oh, no, is he really a time traveler? I haven't seen that one.
It has the Donald Trump's Jr. name in it, his name, and all this kind of...
Donald Trump's a time traveler?
It's crazy. See it like every now and then.
I haven't seen that. I'll look it up.
I'll see if I can send it to you. Show you.
All right, here we go. All right, welcome back. We have a full board of calls, which is really amazing. Really amazing. I want to thank everybody in the audience. Our last show before Christmas. We'll be here live all next week for your support of the program, and that's on behalf of Steve as well. Most people are off this week. You see all the fill-in people all over the place. People, they don't want to work on Christmas because it typically is a tough time, they think, to do a show. There's lots going on. There's lots to talk about. And those of you out there supporting the show, thanks so much for your support. And to have a full board of calls on the Friday before Christmas is almost like a Christmas miracle on a call-in radio show. But it's like this every year for us because you guys out there are good people. All right, let's go. Well, not Al the John, but the rest of you. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, once. Twice. All right. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Dan with Jensen Beach.
All right, Jensen Beach. What's up?
I totally agree. I mean, any guy who gets into office and for his first day in office, he signs 30 executive orders wiping anything out with the Trump name on it. Before you find better policies, I own businesses, and I would never do something new unless I had something better. But not these guys. These guys just wipe out the good, and they have nothing better. All they have is simply fear-mongering and just bad decisions. They don't have policy.
And he stopped the completion of the wall, even though the materials were sitting there on the ground.
That's ridiculous. I mean, what type of person with any common sense does that? I mean, I've owned a business since 1985, and I employ people, pay payroll taxes, pay my own taxes. You know, it's just the stupidest thing. But then again, I think personally that the Democrats are sort of an evil party. I mean, they lie, they cheat, they steal. I call them the demonic Democrats.
And don't forget the Democrat part.
I think there's a spiritual side behind everything, way behind the scenes. And don't forget the Democrats enslaved black people. You know, I share this with people. And they also put all the abortion clinics in black communities trying to keep their population down.
Well, you know, the black new caller, I'll give him a break. I'm not going to give the guy the treatment on his first call. You know, the thing about it is, you know, you talk about the abortion clinics in the black communities. That's true. My entire life, the black population has remained steady at about 12% of the U.S. population. Why has the black population not grown? It's because the abortions have... There's more black people than there were years ago, but their percentage of the population has stayed about the same because of abortion.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they voted for 30, 40 years Democrat. I love what Trump said. Hey, listen, you guys voted Democrat for the last 40 years, and look where you're still at. Why don't you give me a chance? And he got the chance, and he became president and did wonderful things for the black community.
Mm-hmm. That's true. All right. Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for the call from Jensen Beach. Well, I'm going to respond to what he said. Why did blacks vote Democrat for so long? I'll tell you real quick. If you're a long-time listener, you've heard me tell this story, but it's very important. Why do blacks historically vote Democrat? Well, that's not true. Blacks were Republican because Republicans freed the slaves. And in 1960 is when things changed. And what happened was Martin Luther King got arrested by a Democrat sheriff, I believe in Georgia. I could be wrong on the state, but I believe it was Georgia. Martin Luther King was a Republican, as were black people in general back in those days. And it was during the 1960 presidential campaign between Richard Nixon, who was vice president, and Republican to Eisenhower, and Senator Kennedy, the Democrat. So, and remember, there was no Twitter or anything like that back then. Martin Luther King had gotten arrested by a Southern Democrat racist sheriff, hauled off in the night to the county jail in the middle of nowhere without media or anything. And this is, and he was just starting to become a national figure. His wife went into a panic because she believed that this sheriff, this Democrat sheriff, was going to lynch Martin Luther King. And he was. So she frantically started calling people. And it was during the presidential campaign, Nixon and Kennedy. She got a hold of Richard Nixon's people first because Martin Luther King and his family were Republicans and they had contacts in the Republican Party. They got a hold of Richard Nixon's team first. President Nixon tried to get Martin Luther King out of jail so he wouldn't get lynched. But the problem was the sheriff didn't like Richard Nixon because he was a Republican. The sheriff was a Democrat. He had no juice with this Southern sheriff. Then Martin Luther King's wife got a hold of, I can't remember who it was, I have to look this up, but a senior advisor to Senator Kennedy during the campaign and told her the story. This guy got in his car, drove to the hotel with President Kennedy and Bobby, and said, we got to get Martin Luther King out of jail. Senator, you got to call this Democrat sheriff and tell him not to lynch Martin Luther King and let him out of jail. Bobby Kennedy went ballistic and told President Kennedy, don't do it. He says, you'll lose the Southern Democrat vote if you help Martin Luther King. And Bobby Kennedy was furious that this message even got to Senator Kennedy. And then they hatched a deal, the three of them, the advisor, Bobby Kennedy, and John F. Kennedy. And because the sheriff was a Democrat and Kennedy was a Democrat and his contacts were Democrats, they could get the sheriff on the phone and he'd listen to him. They made a deal with Martin Luther King. I'll get you out of jail and you won't get lynched. The press will be waiting and you've got to endorse John F. Kennedy. And because Martin Luther King and his wife didn't want him to get lynched, he agreed to do it. Senator Kennedy called the racist Democrat sheriff, said, don't lynch him, let him out. Martin Luther King walked out and endorsed President Kennedy over Richard Nixon. And that's when blacks started voting Democrat. It's terrible, terrible. You don't read that in the history books because they don't want you to know, but that's what happened. And Martin Luther King was a Republican until that moment. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Cassandra. Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah, first I'd like to make sure I say Merry Christmas to you and Steve. Hope you have a great time.
Why'd you leave out the Jews? You didn't say Happy Hanukkah. And then and of course Monday is the first day of Kwanzaa.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, I know you're a Christian, so I said Merry Christmas. Anyway. Something I got to tell everybody, I think this is a warning. I have this plant in my house called the African milk plant.
Another BS story from Doug.
Technical name in Emporium, I think it's called. Anyway, my wife cut one of the branches off, and all his milk comes out. So she wipes it up with a paper towel. Next thing you know, it looked like somebody poked her in the eyes. Her eyes started to shut. I raced her to the hospital. And they said, thank God you didn't get it in your eyes. If you were in your eyes, you could have went blind. So there's people have plants in their house, but they really are super dangerous. And they call it a milk plant. I would like to know how many people, when this milk comes out, say, well, no, it looks like milk. Let me taste it.
You know, this story reminds me of the story of the guy whose wives died from eating the mushrooms. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that, no.
Yeah, this guy, his first wife died from eating poison mushrooms. She died. She ate poisonous mushrooms and she died. He got married again. Same thing happened. His second wife died from eating poison mushrooms. And then his third wife, she died. No, this is true. His third wife died from having her head bashed in. And when he got arrested, the police said, why did you bash your third wife's head in with the hammer? You know what he said?
Mushrooms.
He said she wouldn't eat her poison mushrooms. So why do you have a deadly plant in your house with your wife trimming it? What's that about? How'd that happen?
Well, we had no idea. It was she wanted some. It was a cactus. I never liked it, but she liked it, so
It's called. What's it called again? An African what?
African milk plant. It's
an African milk plant.
I'll spell the name. EUPHOR.
Okay.
A, I believe.
Where'd you buy this at? Did they sell it like at Walmart?
My wife bought it. I don't know where she.
So if she got the milk in her eyes, what did the doctor say would happen?
No, she didn't get the milk in her eyes.
No, but if she got it in her eyes, what did the doctor say would happen?
You go blind.
She would have gone blind. Oh my goodness.
Blinded, man. And you should see what her eyes looked like, man. She, an hour after she got it, it looked like she was poked in the eyes and punched in the face.
Wow.
Terrible. Her lips blew up. They gave her some eye drops and some medication.
And this happened? This happened yesterday?
No, this happened. This happened last Friday.
No, you've called like 3 times since then. Why didn't you tell us about this before?
I figured open line Friday.
Oh, okay.
To change the subject.
Oh, okay. All right. So you waited a week to tell us. That's good. No, that's good. Well, you dodged a bullet on that one. So where's the plant now? Where's the plant?
In the garbage.
Okay, good.
Then I found out we had another plant because the doctor gave us a whole list. It's called Dieffenbachia. That's another one that's poisonous. So we got rid of that too.
Yeah.
People don't know, and they don't give you any warning. You can buy these things, and you can be totally hurt by these things. So
African milk plants. Okay. All right, Doug. Take care. Thanks for the call. Wow. Dodged a bullet, but he didn't tell us about it for a week. All right. No, I believe him on that story. The other story was BS about the text, but that story I believe. That sounds like a true story to me on Doug's part. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action.
That mushroom story. There was the same thing, but it was a woman like back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Where she had like 5 or 6 husbands.
Yeah.
She just kept dying at weird things and ended up she got poisoning.
Wow.
The food, and she was known for her like famous like pies and stuff like that. So and she was killing them with it for her husbands, and she just kept having new ones. The cops finally caught on and was like, "This is weird," and she got away with it. They couldn't prove it.
It's crazy.
Every single husband died from eating her food.
That's crazy.
It's like one of the biggest. I think she was a serial killer or something. She was an older lady too. She was like her 60s, 70s.
And they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
Oh, man. Don't eat pie, yeah. That's right. Remember The Help? No, I believe Doug with that story. That's the problem with Doug. He tells so many fantastical stories. When he's got a true one, you're like, I don't know, but I believe that one.
I had a new patient on Saturday, came in with sciatic, leg pain. She lifted something wrong on Saturday. She said, "Can this help me?" And I said, "Sure." And we did the laser
Next call.
on Saturday. On Monday,
Freedom Soup's not interested in
and
Doug's
she
call.
said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." The joy of doing this all these years is helping patients, and the laser is just an amazing tool that I use to help.
Let's talk about the storm. Are you kidding me? We got no storm in Florida, no snowstorms.
Tennis players, NBA, football players, male.
Is the Martin Luther King story in a book I read? No. These are just things I know.
I never hear from anybody, but I do hear from them.
You know where I saw that story? First I heard about it was, 3 or 4 years ago. It was on CNN. They did a series on CNN about presidential campaigns.
Do you suffer from knee pain?
And it was in that, actually. Can you believe? Yeah. They didn't realize what they were sharing, and I've never seen them rerun it.
Come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions.
But you can find it online because it's a big press conference. Martin Luther King comes out of the jail and right up to the press.
754-222-6642. That's 754.
But that's when it happened.
222-6642. On the air since 1976.
Yeah, and Bobby Kennedy wanted him lynched. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve will be joining us in progress. We are here live. It is the Friday before Christmas, and of course, for Christmas dinner, you guys know I've been telling you we're having a homemade Italian dinner from Anne Marie's. You'll see me over at Anne Marie's tomorrow picking up my takeout if you're there when I'm there. I'm not sure what time I'm picking it up, but my wife's ordering today. She told me last night she's going to order today for our pickup tomorrow. You can still order on Saturdays, Christmas Eve, for your pickup, but what a great thing. And, you know, not only is it going to be a great homemade Italian Christmas dinner, we don't even have to cook. We're going to have this great homemade Italian meal from Anne Marie's, and we don't even have to cook. And if I have my way, we'll eat on paper plates, so we don't have to do dishes, but I don't know if I'll get my way on that. And we're going to have some of the Italian classics. We're going to get lasagna. We're going to get spaghetti and meatballs. We're going to get some other of the Italian classics. We're going to get the Jerry's Bank Rolls. And we're just going to have a great homemade Italian Christmas dinner, and I'm hungry right now just thinking about it. But you can call today and order to pick up tomorrow if you want. Again, you can call on Christmas Eve, but we're going to call today, and we're just going to tell them what time I'm coming by to pick it up. Okay, here's the number to Anne Marie's, 954-889-6600. 954-889-6600. And you can also order in person, and sometimes I do that and just have a beer or so while I'm waiting. Anne Marie's is located in Pompano on the northwest corner of Copans Road and US 1 Federal Highway in the same plaza as the movie theater. Now, of course, Friday is open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game, as you can tell by the content of some of the callers. We were talking about plants in the last segment, but that was an interesting call. And so it's open phones. Let's go. See how it goes in this segment. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Victor, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hey, Victor. What's up?
And I was fascinated about the guy calling up about the plant, which reminds me, my neighbor across the street says her kittens love the MyPillow bed pets.
Oh, yeah, the pet bed. Yeah.
And she's been taking videos of them wrestling, playing King of the Mountain. And I got two of them because she's got two kittens, and one of the cats says they're both mine.
Yeah, exactly.
That was amazing. So, anyhow, one of the most dangerous plants to a cat is a poinsettia. So, if your listeners have pets, they should check and see which plants they can have around pets and which plants they cannot have.
Yeah, my dog, we call her 1K. You know why we call my dog 1K?
Why?
She ate chocolate once, and it cost us $1,000 to save her life. That's
what I've heard, that chocolate is deadly poisonous to dogs. I'm not sure about cats.
I don't know.
I know poinsettias are deadly poisonous.
Yeah, and I learned a big lesson. When the dog ate the chocolate, it cost me $1,000. You know what I learned?
What?
Never go to the vet with your child.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if I'd have paid the $1,000 if my daughter wasn't with me.
Well, that's all the baloney I got for today.
Okay. All right, take care. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, what's up, Renee? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, congratulations. So I was listening to you this morning, and a couple of things you said.
Congratulations.
I don't know where you get your information from. The reason why that information is not in a book about Martin Luther King...
Because it's not true?
...is because it's not true.
Yeah, it's very true.
Not true. You're just making stuff up. First of all, in 1960, black people couldn't vote. So Martin Luther King endorsing Kennedy is not going.
No, excuse me. Black people, black men got the vote at the end of the Civil War. Black women got the vote with the rest of the ladies in 1920. My source for that story on Martin Luther King is a liberal source, CNN. And a few years ago, around election time, they did a series that they have never rerun, probably because of what I'm sharing, because I've tried to seek it out, and you can't get it. It's not a lie. They did a series on different presidential campaigns. I'm sorry you don't want to believe it, but it's true.
Listen, the other thing that you're just making up, black people became Democrats in 1965 because of the civil rights vote. We had the right to vote, and that's the reason we.
Let me ask you, Renee. Okay, Renee. I was not alive in '65, and I doubt you were either. But well, oh, you were. Oh, you're older than you sound. Are you? No, I just don't care to know. I don't. Oh, and what's that? Well, I'm going to finish my sentence first, okay? And I have a question for you. Are you telling people in this listening audience that you believe that black men and black women did not have the right to vote in America until the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act in 1965? That prior to 1965, black people were not allowed to vote in the United States? Is that what you believe?
You ever heard of Jim Crow?
Yeah. No. I didn't ask you to go down a rabbit hole of something else. See, you've got your centuries mixed up. You're talking about 1865, not 1965. And I got to run for a bottom of the hour break, Renee, but you're really, it's sad because you're an older man who I know is a role model to young people, and you're up in Harlem, and you spread this vile, racist BS lie that blacks couldn't vote prior to 1965. And that's a terrible thing. I think you really believe it. I got to run for a break, and I heard, sadly, everything you said. That's the problem. I listen, and I hear it, and I comment on exactly the things you say. All right, we'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Oh, the next break. Okay. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Wow. Sad caller. Sad caller. I wish he would have called a little earlier. I would have kept him on longer, but. Bankrolls, and we're just. Okay, here's and.
Fascinated about the guy calling up about the.
I keep forgetting to turn the volume up for the caller. Because we're in the new studio, you know, I'm still getting the hang of it. By the time I get this one figured out, they'll move me to the next one. You know, so. That's right. Would you rather be on a road? Let me ask you guys this question in the break. Would you rather be on the road where every driver, right? This is a serious question, because I just heard this commercial from Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Drunk driving is bad, don't do it, okay? But would you rather be on the road where every driver was drunk, or on the road and every driver was looking in their phone and texting? Would you rather be on a road filled with drunk drivers or texters? And I would say drunk drivers, because it's safer than the texters, because at least the drunks are looking at the road, trying not to hit anything. And the texters, they're not looking at anything. So I think the texters are more dangerous than the drunks. Yeah. Think about it. The drunk drivers are driving slow, trying not to hit anything.
Well, some go speeding.
That's
down,
true.
too.
That's true. Yeah, the drunks are safe. Yeah. It's true. They're both bad.
That's a hard one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Most everybody says the drunk drivers. Yeah. I don't want to be on the road with any of them, but if I had to be one, yeah. Texting kills more than drunks. Absolutely.
It should be doing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At Laporta Contracting, family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At Laporta Contracting, let our family take care of your family.
It's true.
Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602.
Full board of calls.
On our website at
That's my wife texting me. There's dings. You guys are wondering.
Great news.
Acme, how you doing?
Worries are over. Hello there, this is Rena Joy from Soothe Your Soul. Soothe
Mm.
Your Soul is giving away free $10 gift certificates, as many as you'd like. We know you'll love our soothing store, so come in and pick up as many free $10 gift certificates as you want to give to family, friends, and coworkers. You'll find awesome gifts for everyone on your list. Text JOY, J-O-Y, to 59925 for more discounts and specials. Wishing you happy holidays and many blessings.
Mm-hmm. Let me see what the... Okay. Just to let you guys know, it is 73 degrees here at the radio station outside. 73 degrees. High today of 81. So what's the temperature where you're at? It's 73 degrees right now. Mostly sunny. Wow. I'm sorry you guys having the snowstorm.
Let me see that picture. It says, nice to see everyone posting pictures of their snow outside.
Oh, yeah.
While we're in Florida.
Exactly. Exactly. 10 degrees, 8 degrees, -6. Oh, my goodness. 52, 27, -1, -40. What the hell? If it was that cold, I don't think my car would start. 73 degrees right now outside the radio station. Wow.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite
36 Mojave. Christopher Pike is from Mojave. Anybody know who that is? Very famous person in certain circles. 16? Oh my goodness. Rhode Island, 27? Wow. That's right, Captain Pike. Captain Christopher Pike from Star Trek is from Mojave. That's right. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is the Friday before Christmas. 73 degrees outside the radio station. Great Christmas weather, while the rest of the country are having these snowstorms. Oh, my goodness. That's why we are in Ron DeSantis' free Florida, where it's perfect. And I think the weather's so perfect this Christmas because President Trump's home, and the weather knows to be very nice for President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. All right, it is open phones on Friday. Every line on the board is lit. We have a completely full board of calls, so let's just go to the callers. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Chris from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, as sad as that last call was, I love it because, I was born in 63 and started the school system in 68. And, we got back in education, and all that was fresh to us back then, late 60s, early 70s. And as a black person, a lot of black families, you know what we saw every time we went in someone's living room? A picture of Jesus Dr. Martin Luther King and President Kennedy. The black vote was bought and sold with Dr. Martin Luther King through President Kennedy, just as you said, and of course sold over the decades with strategy every decade, just as, they like to think the Democrats are the reason why they get their welfare, why they get this, and why they get that. And they buy their vote every election.
Well, in fact, in the Civil Rights Act that he's talking about, more Republicans voted for that in Congress than Democrats, which is another big secret. But you know what's scary about Renee in Harlem? He wasn't lying. He believes black people couldn't vote before 1965 in America. He believes that. That's his reality. He wasn't lying.
I hope he's still listening. Look, it's a public record. More Republicans voted for that percentage, right?
I mean, think about it. Black men could vote before white women.
Yes, very true. They made them go through some tests in the Jim Crow.
Well, the Democrats. Well, how many jelly beans are in the jar and things like that, Yeah, but not up north. They didn't do that. That was only in the Democrat-controlled South. There were black people up north, and they didn't have those things.
So if you didn't, watch it again. There was some truth that came out of Roots.
Well, you want him to watch Roots 2: The Next Generation, which shows yeah. But if you if you even watch Selma, the movie Selma, the first scene in Selma is Whoopi Goldberg going to vote and having that problem Selma's a bit of a lie because everyone that walked across the bridge was a Republican and they were attacked by the Democrats. But there's a lot of lies. It's really sad that a man who is 55, 60 years old like Renee thinks black people couldn't vote before 1965. That just is shocking to me.
He just doesn't, care. He's sold out, and that's that chip on his shoulder.
Now let me ask you a question. Now this new book that has come out says that Biden has said that Kamala Harris is a work in progress. And everyone in the media is saying what that means is that she's not up to the job of being president yet. I think what he means by a work in progress is he's trying to hook up with her. And I'm not joking. He's a creep. If he said that, do you think that's true, my thoughts, or do you think he means she's not up to being president?
Well, all of the above. Heck, she's not up to being vice president. But, we know her background.
And we know his background.
His background, yes. You know what? I was just talking about how, remember when they debated and went head-to-head and Kamala Harris brought out a bunch of truth about Biden being very racist and everything and all his...
Yep.
But then when he selected her, she's like, oh, I was just because we're a competitor. No, everything she said was true.
When Biden... In 1978 or 79, I can't remember which it was, in 78 or 79, Biden was in the Senate. He went to the Carter administration and tried to maintain segregation legally in private schools. Yeah, he openly did that. He tried to keep, because segregation was still going on in private schools, he was trying to keep it, private schools get government monies and things, so oftentimes. So he was trying to maintain segregation, and it was almost 1980. That's Joe Biden.
That's that privileged ruling class there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right, take care. Always a good call from him. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Helen from Kansas.
Oh, hey, Helen. What's up, Helen?
Well, I just wanted to wish you a blessed anniversary of Christ's Conception Day, which is December 25th. He wasn't, according to the Course of Abaya in the Bible, St. Luke chapter 1, verse 5, if you understand the courses of the priesthood, the Course of Abaya, he was conceived on December 25th. His actual birthday was December 25th, and his actual birthday was September 29th.
I've not heard that before.
Nobody's taught you the courses.
Well, it doesn't. I'm not sure what Jesus's actual day of birth was, but it's Christmas Day. The 25th is the day we have chosen to celebrate the birth of Christ. Okay, that is the first I've ever heard of that.
Wonderful that he was conceived. That's more proof that life begins at conception.
That is true. Are you Catholic? Because you said Saint Luke. So what denomination of Christianity are you?
I'm just a plain old Christian.
You don't. Well, you go to church. What kind of church do you go to?
I go to a non-denominational Christian.
Oh, okay. You know, most non-denominational has kind of become a denomination, if you think about it. That non-denominational churches spend so much time focusing on being non-denominational. It's like a denomination. It's like atheism is a religion. They spend so much time being against religion. It's another religion.
Well, God calls us to be Christian. He doesn't call us to be anything.
Well, yeah, I'll throw since it's I'll ask you this, and you know, by the way, Steve will be joining us in progress in a little bit. I think we're Jews. I think we're Jews.
We are Jews?
Of course we're Jews. Christianity is Judaism. I mean, Jesus and the apostles called themselves Jews. Christianity is Judaism.
They lived in Judea. There's two.
No. In fact, in the early church, okay, when the apostles started going out and searching, you had to convert to Judaism to become a Christian, and they stopped doing that. This is true. This is very true. They stopped doing that because part of converting, when they went to the Gentiles had to convert to Judaism in the early church, and they stopped doing that because converting to Judaism, if you're a Gentile, involved adult circumcision. And it was difficult to get guys to agree to do that, so they stopped. I'm not joking. They stopped requiring the conversion to Judaism because of the adult circumcisions. But no, Christianity is Judaism. We're Jews.
Well, the Jews are of the tribe of Judah. That's just one tribe out of 12 tribes.
All right. Yeah, but we're beyond that now. Oh, hey, listen, I appreciate the call, Helen, though. Take care. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Clint, and I'm calling from Lake Worth.
All right, Clint in Lake Worth. What's up?
Okay, first off, I got two questions. I got a question for you and then a statement. First, I'll say the statement. I think that if any Republican congressman brings up impeachment against President Biden, they're making a huge mistake, because if enough senators vote to get rid of him, and I'm sure that there's Democrats in there that want to get rid of him, then we have a total socialist president in Kamala Harris, and she's totally inept. The second thing I wanted to ask you, and maybe you have an answer to it, is one of the charges brought against President Trump is lying to Congress.
Uh-huh.
Lies, and they're allowed to do that on...
That's correct. In fact, not only are they allowed to lie, not only are Congress people allowed to lie, they're allowed to slander people. Congress makes the laws, and they make the laws to benefit themselves. So that's why things are that way. Yeah.
Absolutely nuts, because that's all Schiff did the whole 4 years.
But he did it on the floor of Congress. He did it on the floor of Congress, which gives him, the ability to do it. But, I'll tell you what, though, about Kamala. The danger of a Kamala Harris presidency is it's not just because she's incompetent, because she's stupid, a person, but she would have too much to prove. First black woman, she's incompetent. People know that she got her first statewide job because she was Willie Brown's girlfriend. She's got too much to prove, and that's dangerous. She'd be very dangerous. Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas, and for all of our other brethren, Happy Hanukkah.
All right, thanks so much. Oh, you left out Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa starts Monday. All right, now nobody's in the... I don't know if Kwanzaa's still a thing. I think that fad of Kwanzaa has kind of died off. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're calling from. Steve's going to join us at the top of the hour. And we, of course, are here live today. We'll be live all next week and all month through our cruise. And, those of you that have already signed up and joined us on our cruise, make sure you check in. You can check in now online for our 7-day MAGA Steve Kane cruise. But if you would like to join us, and you've not yet joined us, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. I'm not sure if we have any cabins left or not. But Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot will tell you when you call. And this is going to be a great one. It's 7 days with Steve Kane and myself, and my daughter's coming. She's bringing a friend. My mother-in-law's coming with her husband, and we got a great group. In fact, this is our largest group we've ever had on one of our Steve Kane MAGA cruises. And Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, his number 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. I do not know if there's availability or not left, but he'll let you know when you call, all right? And if you're already booked and everything, you want to do your online check-in on the cruise line website. And if you're not sure how that works, call Ian and he'll tell you how to do it. And you want to do it because it speeds up your time at the port. You'll get done a lot early. You'll get on board a lot faster. It takes basically you just walk on, and you get to pick what time to board. And I picked the first boarding time, which is 11:30. So if you're there on the first boarding crew, you will see me with my family boarding. We'll have a great time. All right, let's take our last break of the hour. We'll be right back.
The cold.
That might be him.
Truth.
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. No, it's not him.
Right. I'm just putting the fill-in.
Yeah. He still may call, so I'll just if he calls, I'll just do it. He'll catch me off guard. We'll do it.
So many people who have moved here from out of state, you know, the whole
voice was a little
pandemic
weird.
caused a lot of
It was
Mhm.
like, hello, and I'm like,
so,
what?
Yeah.
in our offices at the Seagull Law
Let's
Group,
see.
We're seeing a ton of people come in who are getting their estate planning changed through Florida estate planning documents, Florida trust, Florida powers of attorney, Florida healthcare documents, because even if they had done their estate planning in the past, for New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, whatever state they may have came from, if they are planning to be Florida residents, then they should have Florida estate planning documents that meet with the Florida laws. And so it's very important for anyone who has not yet had their estate plan reviewed and updated that's here from out of state to make sure that they make that a priority so that they and their family have proper estate planning for their new state that they live in.
That's right, and it is always a free consultation with the Seagull Law Group when you mention that you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio. And no matter where you're located in Florida, Attorney Barry Siegel and the Seagull Law Group can help you. Find them online at SiegelLawGroup.com or give them a call toll free, 855-FLA 3782. 855-FLA 3782. Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
Okay, have a great weekend.
All right.
Guys, listen to this. The ultimate holiday surprise for her. Naturally new pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram. More alluring than lingerie, feels like wearing next to nothing at all. Or an exciting gift, one you both can enjoy. Right now, when you go to Pajamagram.com to purchase naturally new pajamas, you'll get a naturally nude nightie for free. Save $75 and ensure delivery before Christmas. Go to Pajamagram.com now.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you're suffering with pain, that just means you haven't called Dr. Appleton yet. You know, Dr. Appleton rid me of my arthritis pain. He rid me of my knee pain from my skateboarding accident, and he's rid many of you of your pain too, because I've heard from some of you. And his laser wave pain treatment, it works. It works. It's amazing. I had just settled on the fact that I was getting older, and pain is part of getting older. That is not the case. And Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment works on so many different types of pain, not limited to the list of aches and pains that I'm sharing with you. It works on all kinds of pains: fibromyalgia, sciatica, tinnitus, post-surgical swelling, neck pain, back pain, sprains and strains, arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, herniated discs, rotary tears. If you're in pain, Dr. Appleton can help. No appointment necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, and he's open 6 days a week, 6th day being Saturday. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, and online at appletoncairo.com. All right, so let me get some of these audio sound bites we have. And it is open phones today, as you can tell by our calls. Anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game on Fridays. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're not limited to discuss just the things that Steve and I bring up, but anything you have on your mind, of course, fair game on Friday's program. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 1-888-465-2631. Okay, so I have a clip here. This is from Joy Reid's show last night. She had a guest on. You only hear her chime in at the end, but this is some lefty guest on Joy Reid's program on MSNBC. Let me play this and we'll talk about it.
Again, I think it's a fundamental thing. When Republicans say America first, which is what they constantly kind of try to say, what they really mean is democracy last. That's really what they mean when they say America first. It's not about our principles anymore and the narrative and common story that all of us have shared about a constitution and the will of the people and a government by, for, and for the people. It is about an ability to push through whatever you want, by whatever means necessary in this. And so it doesn't surprise me that they're in sync now with Vladimir Putin, who espouses basically the exact same things, which is, I'm going to hold power for power's sake. And it doesn't matter who I run over or what I do or what country I invade. If I can get what I want, that's what I want. That's what the Republican Party has become. It's the least of which it's not anything close to the last two Bushes, but it's a party that they used to claim Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan would be shocked at what's going on.
And he would be run out of the party. He'd be considered a rhino. I mean,
he could not. If Ronald Reagan ran today in the Republican nomination, Ronald Reagan would probably finish 5th or 6th in a Republican primary.
Easily.
Okay. Yeah, that's Joy Reid with one of her liberal weirdos on. Okay, the reason I share this with you is this is, it's really amazing. The Trump derangement syndrome is in the bones of these people, of these liberals in the media. Yesterday Pelosi in her last speaker press conference said that the media are the defenders of democracy with this kind of crap. They hate Trump so much and the MAGA movement so much, they're praising Ronald Reagan. They hated Reagan. They hated Reagan like the plague. They tried to impeach Reagan. When Reagan took on Russia, they tried to impeach him for it. Right? When he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, they tried to impeach him. He was in a summit meeting with the Russian Premier Gorbachev in Reykjavik, Iceland, and Gorbachev demanded that he stop the space-based weapons, Star Wars, SDI, which didn't even exist, but he bluffed and they thought it did. He walked out of the meeting. They wanted to impeach him. They said he had Alzheimer's when he was in the White House and shouldn't be the president, and that he was getting directions from Nancy's psychic and horoscope. Remember all that stuff? But now Reagan is on this pedestal of respectability, and this is everything. Can you see? That might be Barry. Can you check and see if that's Barry before I take it? It could be. Yeah, and when you hear Democrats praise any Republican, you got to stop and think. And Reagan was so long ago, a lot of people have forgotten that what they used to say about him. They thought he was terrible. They did. I remember they had this thing during the Reagan era because prices got high and seniors were having a tough time on their fixed incomes and things. Do you remember what they used to say? You remember, they used to say that senior citizens were eating cat food and dog food to get by. Even though there wasn't one documented case of this, in the media, they used to talk about senior citizens. I was watching an episode when I was a kid of Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon. They had a whole storyline where this old man was eating cat food in Highway to Heaven, okay? Because of Ronald Reagan. And I'm sure if I thought about those are just things that popped in my head. I'm sure there were many more that were much worse than that, okay? And but now Reagan, he was the reasonable one. He was the reasonable one. Remember when he went to the veteran cemetery in Germany, and then they said, oh, he's putting the wreath on Gestapo graves, Nazi graves, which wasn't true, but they said it anyway. They still say it today. But now all of a sudden, Reagan, he was the real deal. He was the real Republican. He was reasonable. Give me a break. Don't believe anything these self-appointed defenders of democracy say to you. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie.
Hey, Richie. 2 days in a row.
I want to address the guy that called from New York about the
Renee.
The Democrats. I'm 74 years old. I hope you're still listening. I'm from New York City. I had an aunt and uncle that lived in Greensboro, North Carolina. They had moved down there from Jersey. He was a big shot for P. Laurel Tobacco Company. Okay, the fact of the matter is, when we used to go south, you used to start seeing black-only water fountains and bathrooms. Didn't see that up in New York. You know who was in charge of the whole South?
Yeah, that's right, Democrats.
Who was the mayor of New York at the time? Mayor Lindsay, Republican. Everywhere you looked in the South were Democrats. Lester Maddox, George Wallace, all Democrats. What the heck happened? I'll tell you what happened. A handful of black leaders decided they were going to make money on the black population, like Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and they put the screws to the black people, and they became rich people. And that's the fact.
Yeah, that's correct. You're right on the money with that. Absolutely. But I'll tell you, Renee, this is the thing with Renee from Harlem. I was talking to the other caller that brought him up. Renee was not lying. He actually believed that blacks could not vote before 1965. I mean, how can a grown man in America think something that's just so absurd is truth?
Right, in a way, that in the South, there was a lot of...
Yeah, but he's in Harlem. He's in New York.
Yeah, but they were all Democrats. South...
Well, hold on. Blacks could vote in the South legally. They were just being prevented to oftentimes by Democrats.
Exactly right, and I don't know, I told you what happened. They're sold out by their own people. I drove a bus, and Brian, I used to go to the black neighborhoods. You know what the best house in the neighborhood?
Yeah,
ministers.
That's right.
Politicians.
That's right. I remember there was one minister at one of the big black churches. He lived in Weston, and he had this house in the ghetto that he claimed to live in, but he really lived in Weston. Where the Dolphins and the Heat players live.
Well, they're taught to go to church on Sunday, and the black preachers are Democrats. Look at this guy that was Obama's preacher. I mean, and they live in mansions, and the people, their congregation, are poor.
Jeremiah Wright, which was Obama's racist pastor, had a $10 million home.
Yeah, they're exploited by their own people, and they don't get it. And I'm sorry to say it, but the guy in New York doesn't get it either.
Well, the guy in New York is sad because he is such a racist, and everywhere he goes, he spews that racist poison of his, and because of his age, he probably has influence over young people in Harlem. I don't know. Are there still black people in Harlem?
Yeah, well, they have Bill Clinton.
That's right. He was the beginning of it. They have like Starbucks in Harlem now.
Not for nothing, but it's just a shame what's happened. Black people start to think for themselves, not in blocks. I mean, my God, they've got you bulldozed, and you don't even know you bulldozed.
Well, when it wasn't that long ago, if we had a black caller who was a Republican, it was like a big deal. Oh wow, a black Republican on the line. But that's common now. That it's not a sure vote for the Democrats anymore. That's one of the reasons they're bringing in this new class of people from Latin America. Hey, listen, Richie, thanks for the call. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Don't forget, if you've not done it already, call Sloman's, and they'll tell you how you can get a free doorbell camera. Now, you got to mention you heard about them on the radio to do it. No matter where you're listening to me, give them a call. You'll love it. It's so convenient. Now, of course, you've got the added security and everything with it, which is awesome. But it's so convenient to know who is at your door at all times, no matter where you are. I get notifications all the time. If you're in the bathroom, you get a notification. You don't have to, run to the door. You can just see who's there and deal with it right there. It's a pretty convenient thing. And you can get a doorbell camera for free. Here's the number: 833 833-283-5050. They'll tell you how. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. All right, Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour. It is Open Phones on Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday. We have much more to talk about we haven't even touched on yet, and I'm sure Steve has a few things on his mind as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group.
Yep.
Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Laundry, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
Truly's traffic check.
Good morning in Broward County. There's a crash 95 northbound just beyond Sheridan Street. It is on the right shoulder. 595 eastbound just after 95 south. Got a disabled vehicle here. Watch speed on approach. And 95 southbound just after Palmetto Park Road. Palm Beach County, we're seeing slowdowns here with an accident on the right shoulder. This report brought to you by Macy's. Join Macy's in support of Big Brothers Big Sisters in America throughout the holiday season. Give on
Steve Kane Show. No, hold on. Hold on, John. Hold on.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News now. I'm Tom Rivers. The January 6th committee is out with its final report.
The official report, which is 845 pages, recommends that President Trump and his allies be banned from ever holding public office again. The committee releasing the report just days after recommending the Justice Department charge Trump with crimes including inciting an insurrection. Which bans insurrectionists from holding office. Now, of course, none of this rule is legal in terms of the charges for Trump, as it'll be up to the Justice Department, which is conducting its own investigation.
ABC's Mike Kajachi. The U.S. Senate has approved and sent to the House a spending bill keeping the government running through September. House has until midnight Friday night to pass it. Just days after the U.S. and South Korea conducted joint military exercises, South Korea's military says North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles toward the Sea of Japan. This is ABC News.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone. Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Macho.
Oh, man. 1 hour to go. And then Christmas. I got so much work to do. I got to get the house ready for everybody coming over. So I got to spend the next 2 days cleaning the house and getting everything prepared. What's everyone doing for Christmas? Any plans? Then my wife said yes. Yeah. So when I get home today, that's I'll be like Cinderella till Christmas. Staying home. Yeah. Yeah, Richie's right.
Happy holidays from everyone at Chowderheads of Jupiter. The Chowderhead family wishes you and yours the best for this festive season. Chowderheads, looking forward to serving you with the freshest New England seafood of Palm Beach County. From our family to yours, happy holidays from everyone at Chowderheads. Chowderheads open 7 days a week with authentic New England seafood flown in daily from Boston. Chowderheads in the Driftwood Plaza.
Okay, Barry wants to call in. Is there a break that it works best? Can we do it at 8:15?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm texting. I'll text him. All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. It's open phones. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, lots going on. Lots going on. And I just tell people real quick before we get started. You know, of course, we're having Christmas dinner homemade from Anne Marie's, and this is just awesome. And my wife is ordering today, and I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. So, and then we're going to heat everything up, and we're going to have a classic homemade Italian Christmas dinner. I'm looking forward to it. And my daughter said, don't forget to order the Jerry's Bank Rolls, which will blow your mind. They're so good. They're amazing. And you can order on Christmas Eve as well, because of course they'll close on Christmas. But if you want to go ahead and order today at Anne Marie's, just tell them what time you're going to come by Saturday to pick everything up. Okay, here's the number for Anne Marie's: 954-889-6600, 954-889-6600. You can order your takeout in person as well. And, of course, Anne Marie's is located in Pompano on the northwest corner of Copans Road and US 1 Federal Highway in the same plaza as the movie theater. Again, their number 954-889-6600. All right, well, you want to take some calls? What do you want to do, Steve? Why, did something happen? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. There's so much going on. Lots going on. All right, good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is John from Oklahoma City.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Jonathan. Howdy. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Just one thing, and this has been going on for centuries. The people that cause the problem, they're the ones that benefit from the solution.
Mm-hmm. Talking about the Democrats.
They're part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, think about it. What's a problem we have in this country that the Democrats, as a country, that the Democrats are not responsible for?
We're talking about problems that have nothing to do with political stuff. We're talking about wars. We're talking about real estate bubbles. We're talking about COVID.
Yeah.
Who benefited the most from 9/11? The oil companies and the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Benefiting the most from the war in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
The military and the oil company.
Yeah.
Who benefited the most from the real estate bubble? People that caused the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The banks and the mortgage lenders.
Mm-hmm.
Got bailed out after supposedly bubble burst. The bank.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, you're right.
Nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. It has to do with people that have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They're behind the scenes. People that own the media. Talking the ultra rich here. They keep getting richer. The rest of us, we get poorer. Inflation going up and up. Right now we're getting inflation mainly because of the price of diesel, and everything moves by truck or train.
That's right.
Because the transportation companies are having to pay more for diesel. Who's benefiting from that? The people that own.
Correct. Correct. All right, hey, listen, appreciate the call. Oh, by the way, did you see the story about Brittany Griner's return home, Steve?
No.
Oh. Okay, now, for those that have forgotten, because it's easy to forget, Brittany Griner is the WNBA BLMer that was traded for the Merchant of Death. And remember, the Merchant of Death was spotted a couple days ago in Ukraine with the Russian army. They took him on tour, in Ukraine, and probably, I think what the Merchant of Death was doing was giving a tour to see what they need and how he can help them rearm, because that's what he's in the business of. Brittany Griner, who we're told was just so important, she returned to her hometown to a welcome home party where only 20 people showed up to see her. 20 people. I'm not. 20 people showed up at her welcome home from the Gulag party. Well, it sounds like people really aren't that interested in her. I mean, that's shocking. I mean, the BLMers didn't even show up. I mean, and there's been very little news coverage of that. I found that story, in some of the conservative news sites I go to, but that's a big story that people don't really seem to care. That says a lot about her as a person. I mean, you and I stop at Anne Marie's and have a bite, and we bump into more listeners than came out. Yeah, I think people that know Brittany Griner don't like her. I mean, 20 people? Her and her girlfriend, they couldn't get enough girls from the local gay bar to come? I mean, that's a low number.
These things, when they occur politically, are politically organized, and I don't think Brittany Griner is in favor with the left.
Steve, this is her hometown where she lives. Come home from the Gulag. I mean, that means her family didn't even show up. Like cousins and nieces and nephews and all of that. Well, it shows that she's not a nice person. If you or I were in a Gulag and we came home, I would think we would have. You've got a big family, but between your children and grandchildren, you have more people than that. She doesn't have anyone in her circle that cares about her or loves her. They don't like her. She's probably a nasty person. I mean, how can you be so famous and high profile and get out of the Gulag and have worldwide attention and only 20 people show up? That means your own family didn't show up. She is, to me, that tells me that Brittany Griner has burned bridges. Where are the NAA, the WNBA team that she plays on? They weren't even there. So she has burned the bridges of everyone in her family and circle. They don't like her. That says a lot. And people that are that nasty, where they alienate the people in their family and at their work at that level, they probably have an attitude when they're dealing with immigration people at the Russian airport too. And that lands you in the Gulag. I think that says a lot about Brittany Griner, and it's not good. I mean, that's just it. I mean, 20. What an embarrassment. Now, I get a few sound bites here I wanted to play, and then after our next break, we'll go back to the phones. There was a girl was assaulted by a transgender boy in her school bathroom. Listen to this. This is just crazy.
It has come to light that at Edmond Public Schools, a boy claiming to be a girl went into the girls' restroom and assaulted 2 young girls. This is unacceptable and will not be tolerated here in the state of Oklahoma. Our legislature and governor passed and signed a bill that says boys cannot go in the girls' restrooms for this precise reason. We are going to protect our young girls.
Okay. And it's against the law. This is Oklahoma. So we have multiple girls in Oklahoma have been assaulted sexually in the girls' room because some boy decided he identified as a girl that day, and they let him in. There's a boys' room and a girls' room for a reason. And these are stories like Brittany Griner not having anyone show up to greet her home from the Gulag, that the mainstream media that Nancy Pelosi said yesterday are the defenders of democracy don't cover because it doesn't fit the narrative. Liberalism puts people in all kinds of situations that are dangerous. and this is one of them. That's why when if I'm ever at Target with my wife and she has to use the ladies' room, I always stand outside the door to make sure no men come in, because they let men use the ladies' room at Target. You know, I mean, this is the crazy world we're in. But you can't protect your girls at school because you're not there. You're at work, you know, and they're in school. All right, listen, we're going to take our break. When we get back, we'll take some calls. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.9 and 106.9.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Our last check-in before Christmas. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing great. What do you have for us this morning, Barry?
Well, I spoke earlier in the week about this, but it's been coming up so much. I'm talking to so many people who are who have just moved to the South Florida area, and so many people are talking about, yes, I know I need to get my estate planning done. In fact, they may have talked to their current estate planning attorney in whatever state they were coming from, who had advised them that if they're moving to Florida, they need to update their estate plan so that their documents are Florida. I just had someone in the other day that had their assets had grown significantly since they had last done their estate plan in New York over 20 years ago. And in New York, they have a will. So they have an out-of-state estate plan. They have a will when based on their estate size and other reasons, a trust would be most appropriate. And their documents are very old. So for many reasons, those people and many others who are down here, who are moving down here, need to review and update their estate planning. And right now is a great time, because now is the time that everybody's thinking about New Year's resolutions and, you know, things that you really need to do. And this is an important thing for people to do. Where, you know, New Year's resolutions like losing weight and being healthy and many of the other things that people think of, they're all important. But when you think about estate planning, it's taking care of yourself and your family, making sure that you make your wishes known so they can come true, and taking care of the people you love. So that's my message for you today.
That's right. And no matter where you are in the state of Florida, Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group can help you. And Florida just has so many new residents here. And there's a lot of great benefits, right, to living in Florida. No snowstorms like you see up north, right? It's in the 70s right now. It's going to be in the 80s later. And another benefit, of course, is the Siegel Law Group. So give them a call. It's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, online at SiegelLawGroup.com, or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Barry, we'll talk next week.
All right, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, back after this.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Okay, all right. You back with us, Steve? Okay. Okay, now have you seen this story about Disney stock dropping? Oh, my goodness. Okay, and they're blaming Avatar for it, which is... I saw the original, and I could have told them, don't waste time with the sequel, because the first one was no good. But...
The second one is just ponderous.
You saw it? Oh, my goodness.
Something to celebrate, so we went out and took the kids to...
boring.
The kids loved it.
You know, you know what Avatar... I don't know about the second one, because I haven't seen it. But I saw the first one. And James, everyone loves James Cameron. He gave us Terminator and Titanic. But he's a plagiarizer. And Avatar, the first Avatar, is a complete ripoff of a Kevin Costner movie. You know which one? And I'm not joking. Not The Postman. No. Dances with Wolves. It's a remake, ripoff of Dances with Wolves. And you know, yeah, it is. If you watch if you watch the first Avatar, you'll see it. Titanic, he plagiarized that storyline from The Love Boat. My wife and I are fans of The Love Boat, right? We watched The Love Boat, and even the jewel that is in Titanic, that jewel and everything, including Jack Dawson that Leonardo DiCaprio played, characters and storylines directly from episodes of The Love Boat. But anyway, Avatar is a bomb. James Cameron said it has to make $2 billion to break even, which is like impossible. But Disney's stock is at its lowest level since 1974. And they're blaming Avatar for it. And I'm not saying that the movie bombing didn't help hurt their stock price. But the main thing is they've gone so woke. And it's the liberal wokeism at Disney that has alienated the consumer of everything they produce. They're doing a new version of Snow White. And I know you're a big Snow White fan, Steve, because of your John Wayne Gacy days. You know, and Steve was friends with serial killer John Wayne Gacy, who painted. Well, you were a fan of his. You were a fan of his art, a collector.
Business together, but I mean,
You did business. He did. Okay. Let me. How dare I misread? Steve did some business with the with the serial killer John Wayne Gacy. And his artwork, and he did a very famous painting of Snow White with the Seven Dwarves, and Disney went after him. And there's a new Snow White coming out, and it's a woke Snow White. No prince, because that would be gender. I'm not kidding. There's no prince for Snow White.
no prince, there's no Snow White.
Snow White is a princess, no prince, because that's too gender specific. And get this, no dwarves. Well, because that's right. Because, yeah. Who's going to watch that? Who's going to watch that? And everyone's blaming Avatar for Disney. It's because they've gotten too woke, too liberal, and they've alienated their core consumer, which are like American parents who don't want all this woke crap. Who wants to go see Snow White with no dwarves and no prince? It doesn't even make sense. Let me tell you, these wokesters are twisted. I pulled up an interview with that PBS did, public television. They interviewed a drag queen, and it's just bizarre. Let me play this for you. By the way, it is open phone today. If you'd like to call in, our number 888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. But I was up at 3 a.m. editing these sound bites. I want to get through them. This is PBS television, public television, which you should watch when you can because you do pay for it. And they're interviewing a drag queen, and what they're talking about is the conservative Republican fear of drag queens. We have phobia, Steve. The fear of drag queens is the subject matter. So this is PBS interviewing a drag queen. And anyway, let's just play it.
Number of Republicans, self-described conservatives, who argue that drag is something to be feared. We've heard this before for some...
Who says that? Who's afraid of drag queens? This is bizarre.
Conservatives who argue that drag is something to be feared. We've heard this before for some far-right voices. They say that it indoctrinates and sexualizes children. What do you say to people for whom that message resonates?
Well, I think that people automatically are being brainwashed with fear tactic. And that's often what happens when it comes to people trying to get people on their side when they have an opposing opinion from the norm, right? To say that you should fear drag, it makes no sense. I mean,
But no one is fearful of drag queens. I've got news for you. I don't know what they're talking about on PBS.
Don't necessarily want to work for...
Okay, hold on a second. Let me rewind. I talked over the part I wanted to play. Hold on.
You should fear drag. It makes no sense. I mean, most drag queens don't necessarily want to work or perform for children.
Okay. That's okay. Not all drag queens want to perform for children in school, Steve. Okay. You know, the thing about drag queens that's adult entertainment, isn't it, Steve? Okay, the problem we have with drag queens is not that they exist and do their drag shows. Because we used to have a sponsor, I was talking the other day, last week, that did drag shows. Remember? That place in downtown Fort Lauderdale and, the Cabaret from the movie.
I'm trying to remember who is the Kathy Willis?
No, it was that was another place. We were at the Cabaret with John Wayne Bobbitt, the man whose wife cut his penis off, and they sewed it back on. We were there with him. Steve and I have some real classy friends, but it was a supper club that was an adult place. You had actually, I believe, had to be 25 years old to get in. And the problem is when they go, it's like, we're not prohibitionists, but we believe you shouldn't serve alcohol at school to children. So when you take something that's adult entertainment and take it to school kids, we're opposed to that. But anyway, back to the drag queen.
Want to do that. There are some situations where we do drag story hour, or we allow all ages to come to a drag brunch show during a daytime event, but it's all within legal standing.
It's all within legal standing. Kids, drag queen story time. It's all between. Just because something's legal doesn't mean it's right. There are lots of things that are legal that aren't right, and I mean, my goodness. And you know, the reason I share this is this woman on PBS is supposed to, I know they're liberal, but they're supposed to be classy. And I'm watching PBS in a very serious interview talk to this humongous person dressed as a woman talking about Drag Queen Story Hour as this is some new oppressed group of people in this country that need some type of civil rights legislation to protect them.
They see it.
Oh, please. They're sick. No one cares about drag queens. No one cares. Everyone's fine with drag queens are fun and it's great entertainment. We just don't think they should be at the school.
Out of the public school?
Exactly. There's lots of things we support that we don't want in the public schools, and there's a lot of things that are legal that we don't want in the public schools. Like I support. I'm going to be drinking on the cruise for 7 days, but I don't want those drinks served in the school to the kids. You know what I mean? We haven't, the stupid thing. Stripping is legal, but we don't think the strippers should be stripping in the schools. It's so bizarre. Why do these people feel a need to get to the public schools and do their drag shows, Steve?
They're not interested in stripping, they're interested in grooming.
That's correct. It's recruitment. It's like, when I was in elementary school, we used to have the local Boy Scouts used to come, and they'd come into the classroom, and they'd have their cool uniforms on, and they'd have their dad, who was in the Denma.
Listen to it.
Yeah, they would recruit. Yeah, they'd come in and recruit you to be in Boy Scouts, and that was cool. So now Drag Queen Story, they're recruiting drag queens. They're going to school to recruit drag queens. I mean, it seems so strange, and I hate to even bring this up, but that's, when you hear them talking this way on PBS, they don't even see anything wrong with doing the drag shows in public school. And I've seen these online. They're one step away from being a striptease and the inappropriate dress and everything else. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we'll take some more calls. We've got more to talk about, too. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Let me see.
People say, oh, but you're harming a life. I believe this is life. Well, some religions don't. So how about that? Our Jewish brothers and sisters, they are able to have an abortion according to their faith.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. AOC's lost her mind. Abortion is part of Judaism, according to AOC. I've got to share this when we get back. Unbelievable. These people are out of their minds. How can you have Snow White without a prince or dwarfs? How can you do it? You can't. That's true.
Also slow southbound turnpike after Coconut Creek Parkway. There's another crash here in Palm Beach County right now, 95 south after Palmetto Park Road. 6 slowdowns from an earlier wreck we had. It's on the right shoulder. Also 95 southbound just after 45th Street. We have congestion here and there's a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder. This report is brought to you by Macy's. Join Macy's and support the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America throughout the holiday season. Give online today.
Yeah, this is a listener gave me this MAGA hat. This is a new MAGA hat. I was showing this at the top of the stream because it's got the tag in it, and I was about to take the tag out, and then I read the tag, and I'm like, this tag is pretty cool. It says official Make America Great Again 45th President hat, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna leave that tag in. I've never left a tag in a hat before, but I thought that was a cool tag. Yeah. No, I'm gonna leave that tag in. I think that's a cool tag. Yeah. Yeah, you can't have a Batman movie without Robin. It's got to make $2 billion to break even. Well, everybody wants to date AOC. Remember when she said that? Everybody wants to date her. Yeah. The mark, that's like the barcode. I can get scanned. Anyone want to date AOC? No? It is made, this hat is not made in China. Made in the USA. Says it right there. There you go. Made in the USA. Oh, no. Yeah, Chippendale story time. Exactly. Which is worse? Which is worse? Okay? Let me know. Drag Queen story hour or Chippendale's story hour in the elementary school? Which would be worse? What do you think? Well, which is worse? If you had to have one or the other, Chippendale story time or Drag Queen story time, which is worse? Yeah. I don't think the Chippendale guys could read. They'd have a hard time. Well, the Chippendales have to keep the clothes on. Or at least the bottoms. Steve did something in drag once. I want to bring it up when we get back. I was going to bring it up then, but we were up against the break. I was leading into it, but then I had the break, so I didn't get to it. I'll bring it up when we get back. No, Steve did a live radio remote in drag. You wouldn't get me doing that. No. Yeah. I don't know if there's pictures of it. I don't know if Steve wants to talk about it or not. We'll find out in a couple minutes. No, you wouldn't get me in drag. No way.
Classic
We'll talk. I'll bring it up when we get back. I was going to bring it up before the break, but like I said, we were up against the break. It had a name. It was a big event at a sponsor that Steve did, and we would not be able to do it today. We'll talk about it when we get back. Steve might be upset with me for bringing that. We'll find out. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Friday before Christmas. Steve is with us. It's the Steve Kane Show. You back with us, Steve? Yes, I am. Oh, I was talking about you during the break, and we had a conversation going during the break, and I was asking people in our chat room which would be worse, which is the worst at a public school, drag queen story hour or Chippendales story hour, and most people said drag queen. But I was telling people during the break that you did a personal appearance in drag. I don't know if you want to talk about it. Oh, lucky you, because I remember it. But it was. I wish I didn't remember it. No, I've never. You'll never get me in drag. You'll never get me in drag. And Steve did. Okay. Yeah.
We did a show, a day-long show, where all the hosts appeared in some degree in the nude, depending on what they were comfortable with.
Yeah, not me. But I was fully clothed. I was fully clothed, and what I do remember about that, all the nudists that came around that day, they're not people you want to see naked. I'm telling you, you don't want to see these people naked. But anyway, let me get back to your dragster, because Steve's trying to get us off on something else. But this was a long time ago when I first started working with you, and I left another radio station to work at your radio station, and you did this personal appearance in drag, and I was wondering, well, I'll tell the story. And I was wondering if I made a mistake, because this was such a weird freak show thing. And Steve did this appearance in drag with two other radio hosts. One of them at the time was a closeted gay man. I am going to mention them. I'm telling the story, Steve. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was so traumatic. Steve did this a live remote for the radio station at a sponsor with two other radio hosts, Rick Siderman, who's passed away, and another host who was closeted gay at the time, but later came out of the closet, Al Rantel, and you were all wearing women's lingerie, and you were, don't ask, don't Rantel. And in fact, his boyfriend at the time was a gay porn star, and he was in the closet, and he was putting up the most fight about not doing drag. You wore a thong. I remember you wore a thong. Yeah, and this was, I know this is scary, and it was a live remote where they were broadcasting live on stage with several hundred people in attendance, and it was at an indoor flea market which no longer exists. And I'll tell you the name, and then I'll tell you the name of the event, and this is something we would not be able to do today in woke America. It was an indoor, yeah, Steve was in a thong, and I remember that clearly because you have a tattoo on each one of your cheeks, which I found out that day. I didn't know that before, and I didn't need to know that. One of them was a unicorn, I recall. But What kind of guy gets a unicorn on their cheek? Steve Kane. But anyway, and it was a very high raise stage. There were a few hundred listeners in attendance, and you did a whole radio show in drag. It was at an indoor flea market in Fort Lauderdale that no longer exists. It was called, well, this is the part we couldn't do anymore. It was called the Bazaar Indoor Flea Market, and the event was promoted as the Bazaar at the Bazaar, because you guys were in drag. The Bazaar at the Bazaar was the radio promotion. I remember this like it was yesterday. I've got a great memory, Steve. I got a great memory. I remember everything. Yes, it was called the Bazaar at the Bazaar because it was the Bazaar Indoor Flea Market. And oh boy, we couldn't do that today because you can't say that being in drag is bizarre. That's not woke. You get in trouble. Can't say that's bizarre. We have to come up with a new promotion.
Different days.
Oh my goodness, was it? And
you always had the impression when we did the thing with we couldn't require our hosts to get naked, but so we just said that to whatever degree you feel comfortable, your choice, removing as many of your clothes as you feel comfortable removing, and everybody got into it, but you as a
I did not do it. You're not going to get me, no, I'm not going to do any of those things. No, I've got dignity.
the wife.
I'm just a dignity, Steve. I was going to not that repellent, just a little bit repellent. Well, you don't know. You've not seen me in drag like you. But no, it's so strange, you know, how the world turns. If we did that promotion today, promoting the Bazaar at the Bazaar, people would have meltdowns over that.
Time, they were first in their day. We had the first gay activist talk show host. We had hosted by a how would you describe it? The one with Jimmy Ray and.
Oh, you're talking about Queer Talk? Okay. Queer Talk. It wasn't the first show with a gay person on the radio, but there were two. Well, it was more specific. There were two gay hosts that hated each other because one was butch and one was femme, and they made each other uncomfortable. You know, and the one was really manly and everything else, but. So I don't know what you. Yeah, I don't know. Steve was doing things in the nude and drag with gay. I don't know. It was a strange time, but you know the thing about it though, getting it back to the topic at hand, with the drag queen story hour and everything that we're talking about, what used to be considered bizarre, freakish, or a fetish has now become the norm. And as scary as this, at the end of yesterday's show, we were talking about how in the Air Force, Navy, and the Coast Guard, they've taken out yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, and to not be gender specific. Back in the 80s and the 90s, during the culture wars, all these things that were being discussed, and when you would have like Pat Robertson and the Christian Coalition say, if you allow gay marriage, this is going to happen. Gays in the military will cause this. And they would have these predictions about what would happen in our country if gay rights activists got their way. What's going on in our society today is more far-fetched than even Pat Robertson and the Christian Coalition's wildest scare tactic to oppose gay rights. We are beyond that. Many times beyond, many levels beyond that. Even Pat Robertson never envisioned that, all that stuff.
A show with one of the top evangelists at the time I'm trying to remember who it was, Jerry Falwell?
Maybe, yeah.
The guest, that's a little vague. It's been a long time. And the gay activist picketing to have him not allowed on the air. And I don't know.
Well, it was, there were, Well, back in those days, though, when the culture war was a big thing, and there were all these different debates going on, and if you think about, if you went back online and looked at the most outrageous future predictions from Christian activists, if you allow gay rights, this will happen. Whatever their wildest prediction was, is boring compared to what's really going on today. Things have gotten so far out of control with normality when you have boys using the girls' room. It's freakish. But listen, we're going to take our break. When we come back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman with the final gold and precious metals report before Christmas. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
All right. What do you have for us today?
Metals are doing good. Gave us a buying opportunity yesterday on a little bit of a pullback. We saw gold get down to around 1785, and then rallied back up to 1792.40, closing down on the day $12.20. Saw a lot of great buying coming in yesterday with the dip, and that's what we've been saying: buy the dips. Silver was down 41 cents at $23.53. Platinum closed down $15 at $980 the ounce, while palladium was down $9 at $16.02. Right now we got a rally coming back up on the metals. Gold $1,800, up $7.50. Silver up 30 cents at $23.85 the ounce. Platinum up $40 at $1,020, and palladium up $18 at $1,620. So gold back up to the $1,800 number again.
Wow, that's great news. Now, today's the last day before Christmas, William Youngerman. What do you have in stock that makes great Christmas gifts that people can walk you out with today?
Lots of gold jewelry that we can sell for basically the gold value. You'll save tremendous amounts of money on that. Make sure if you're a Steve Kane listener, you say, hey, I want to see some jewelry, because it's mostly a wholesale deal, so we don't always put it out, but we have much to offer in jewelry. Of course, we have all the rare coins and precious metals in stock for immediate delivery, and lots of nice size, small size silver and gold items for stocking stuffers.
You know, I'll tell you what a great gift for the kids. Obviously, you know, gold and silver coins are great gifts for the kids. And you can, you know, in the gold, you don't have to just get the full ounce. There's fractional that's a 10th ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce. But, you know, I remember what got Steve first in the metals, William Youngerman, and how we ended up meeting you is someone gave Steve as a gift one of those kilo silver bars. And silver bars are really cool, and they make great gifts.
Silver bars in different forms and different sizes and shapes, and they do make wonderful gifts, and it's a great avenue to get your kids saving and collecting money that will give them some real assets going forward. It'll teach them the value of money, and it also teach them the saving, as opposed to just sticking money in a bank where they don't see it. It's tangible, they can look at it, enjoy it, and see it go up in value.
That's right. Now, are you open regular hours today?
Yeah, we'll be open till 5 today.
Okay, closed on Monday, but open 10 to 5 today. Go in there, get your presents, and think about the coins. Think about the silver in particular. The silver bars are really amazing, and whoever is on your gift-giving list, they'll be blown away, I'm telling you. Give them a call if you want to call after 10 o'clock at 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, have a very Merry Christmas, and you and I will talk on Tuesday.
Okay, Merry Christmas to all.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. There's only one opening on the board. Before we go to the calls, I meant to ask this in the last segment. If anyone has any photographs of Steve in drag at that event years ago, email them to me, DM them to me, because I don't have any. I was in such shock and awe over that. I was not expecting that. I don't have any photographs, but if anyone else does, please. I want to show them at the bar on the cruise. Yeah, so we'll have a great time, great time. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I'm not kidding. Get me those pictures. Good morning, caller.
Hi, this is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
This is Lisa. Hi, how are you? I'm just calling because, Ryan, I am calling about, because I'm doing the same thing you're doing, but we're going to have people over on Saturday night for Christmas Eve. And so I ordered a whole bunch of stuff from, I'm going to pick around 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, from Anne Marie's.
And so I'm getting, because I love those, I can't figure out how they make those bank rolls. But anyways, we're getting 2 orders of that. We're getting the palm sliders, but I'm going to do some meatballs because you can mix them up. And then we're getting 2 orders of that, which we usually do the appetizer of the lobster ravioli, but now my husband, because he loves them so much, we're going to get 2 orders of the entrees. And then, I don't know, but we're going to do the chicken marsala. I don't know with the entree.
Your order sounds like mine. I'm getting the chicken parm as well. Yeah.
I haven't had the chicken marsala, so I don't know. Because we're having like 8 people over, and it's so crazy. The food, the sizes are crazy. It doesn't matter because the next day is Christmas. So.
Well, let me give out the number because we're short on time, and I want you to be able to talk to Anne Marie's is open on Christmas Eve, and we're getting our Christmas dinner from there. And you can actually order today. Just tell them what time you want to pick up tomorrow. You can still order on Christmas Eve. You don't have to order today, but you can. And the number is 954-889-6600. 954-889-6600. All right. Do you have anything else for us?
That I don't know, because I live in Pompano and they deliver to my place. So if you order 10 pizzas, they give you, because they have a coupon on the side of the box. So I'm going to get a free pizza.
Wow.
Whatever they do. Yeah, I know. You may not have known that, but I do because they can't deliver out to Boca. But see, it's good to live in Pompano sometimes.
You do good spots. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The food is unbelievable.
It sure is. It sure is. All right. Well, Merry Christmas. All right. All right. Take care. Take care. All right. Let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Sarah Fort Myers. Boy, you guys are making me hungry. We don't have that over here.
Well, you can get in your car and drive across Alligator Alley and eat at Anne Marie's too.
Worth the trip.
It is worth the trip.
Biscuit to give out to your audience now. Yeah, the cruise. I'm thinking of still going on that. But I was saying, is your wife going with you or no?
Sadly, my wife is not allowed to travel outside the country. But my daughter. Well, yeah. Well, if you're on the her mother's coming. My mother-in-law's coming with her husband. My daughter's coming with her with a friend of hers, and so we're gonna have a great time.
Your wife sounds like a hoot. I think, boy, I'd love to. You sound so cool.
Oh well, thank you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Well, thanks so much. Well, if you join... Oh, they will. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hey, take care. Thanks for the call. All right? And if you come on the cruise, I'll buy you a drink since I got the drink package and the drinks are included. All right? All right. Take care. Okay. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Good morning, Brian and Steve.
She has an illness. She can't leave the country. She's got a... My wife's disabled.
Hanukkah,
It's not a legal thing.
and just peace to everyone. It's a beautiful time of year. I touched briefly.
I should have said not able, not allowed.
Black, and it reminded me a little bit about Tim Scott when he, the senator out of South Carolina, black senator who, when he got to D.C., I heard him. This is going back a few years, but it's always bothered me.
We still got time.
He got pulled over
6 minutes
like
left.
4 or 5 times, and it was kind of like everybody was making it the driving while black thing, and I always thought that it wasn't that. I always thought that it was that he was a Republican who was black, and that's why he was being harassed in D.C. with all the the Trump.
Listen. Everyone that lives in D.C. is almost black. There's very few white people in D.C. So I mean, it's more black people than white people get pulled over in D.C. because there's more black people driving.
J6 committee, Steve. Yesterday, when you were talking about the budget and everything, I was it's kind of depressing what's going on and the things that they're doing.
Why? Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. I saw Donald Trump yesterday and the day before. He's been releasing a lot of videos, and we've seen him a lot lately online. Does Trump look upset? Does he look depressed?
If you let me finish, I'm with you, Brian. But at the same time, it's depressing. But my next part of my statement was going to be, but we have to have hope. There's a lot of good things that are happening. This J6 committee. I mean, I talking about Cassidy, and she was just everything she said was hearsay. My analogy of the J6 committee was, it was all theater. It was like a Broadway show. It was like Cats, but it was like in a gigantic litter box called Washington D.C. It's a joke. But I'm very positive about going forward, Brian. I have hope, and that's what my point was going to be. Is that we have to have hope. As depressing as some of the stupidity that happens in D.C. and listening to Donald Trump should give everybody hope. I know. I look. I try to find any video he puts out. Because he does give me hope, for MAGA, for the future of America.
Oh yeah, all right. Appreciate the call. I want to clarify something I said a moment ago because I think I said something because people were asking me in the chat room, Steve. I shouldn't have said what I said exactly as I said it. I said my wife's not allowed to leave the country, which sounds like she's like they took her passport or something like Bankman from FTX. My wife has a health condition, and she can't travel outside of the country due to her health condition. My wife's disabled, so she cannot travel internationally. So that's why people think she's, like got an ankle bracelet on the way I said it. I didn't realize it until I saw people in the chat. What do you mean not allowed? But I'll tell you, things are going to get rough for President Trump. They're going to harass him for the rest of his life. I do believe that he's going to be criminally charged by Merrick Garland. And what happens at the Supreme Court is up in the air. I know we got some good people on our Trump court. They overturned Roe v. Wade. But, they put the screws to these people. Who knows? It looks like they got to Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is something I didn't think was possible. So it's going to be a rough go for President Trump, and I do think he'll be criminally charged. They're desperate to keep him off the ballot.
That circumstance is probably what you're saying is true, but I think it is also his best chance at a tremendous rebirth because it's only I've said from the beginning, it's only through the excesses of his enemies that people are going to realize how horribly he's been treated.
Correct.
And why?
Yeah. Well, okay. Now, some people say they're not going to charge him. They have no proof. These are corrupt public officials. They don't care about proof, evidence. They don't care. They just want him to have criminal charges against him. Of course, they have no evidence. He's done nothing wrong. He did not take part in an insurrection. He didn't call for an insurrection.
You pointed out rightfully that the Supreme Court is a wild card in this, and it's the one part of our government where Trump's reputation is appreciated and where he still has some power.
Yeah.
How that's going to play out.
Well, when the lock her up chants were going on with Hillary Clinton, and people gave me a lot of heat for what I said then, and I'll say it now, I said I don't want her to get locked up, Hillary Clinton. It's not that she's not a criminal. Her and her husband are. But when you get in the business of locking up political opponents, former first ladies and presidents and things like this, it travels full circle. Especially, it sets dangerous precedents, especially with Democrats who are all about revenge. And I, as much of a criminal as Hillary is, I didn't want her locked up because then they'll be coming after Melania next. And we don't want to be locking up presidents of the United States just because we don't like them. And I wouldn't put Biden in prison. Hunter, that's another story. But I wouldn't put Biden or Clinton in. I would not even put George Bush in prison for his war crimes, lying about weapons of mass destruction, because it sends a dangerous precedent and turns us into Peru, a banana republic. Well, listen, we're all out of time. We'll be back live all next week, too. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. celebrating 45 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve, of course, has been here with us as well. Everyone have a great and happy Merry Christmas. And I know we will, and we'll be here live with you at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. They called me from the radio station and said, are you guys going to be on the air live Monday? I said, yeah, we're going to be live Monday, and we will be with all of you. And thanks to everyone who called and participated on the program today. Some very good calls today, except for Brother Moses. Other than Brother Moses, every call was great. Merry Christmas, and God bless Donald Trump.
WWNN AM Pompano Beach. WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
All right, guys. I got to run. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon.